Okie dokie nerds. So vintage challenge on the 9th of March. We're going back in with the Poxwalker Dredge list that I trophied with throughout the week. I've made, I think it ended up only being one change actually, and that is -1 Poxwalkers to add one Noxious Revival to the main deck. The sideboard I fiddled with a little bit. I've gone -1 Sickening Shoal because I want to try a copy of Spinning Darkness, which is a 6 mana instant, but you may exile the top 3 black cards of your graveyard rather than pay its mana cost. And it's deal 3 to target non-black creature and you gain 3 life. So that's going to be gunning at Containment Priests and it only costs 1 card. And I've also added a copy of Noxious Revival over the second Wasteland that I had. After showing my list, people said there's no Noxious here, and I said that's true. My lands were always dead. So, trying to play around that, I've got the 4 Bazaars, the 4 Powders, and 1 Noxious to help keep that alive. Interaction in the form of Chalice, and then black interaction is 4 Therapy, 4 Grief, 6 Forces, and a Misstep, giving us like a nice, pretty big interactive package there. 12 Dredges, already cut one of the thugs from normal Dredge, and then threats, we've got Hollow One, graveyard threats in everything else here, so that's 1 Gak, bunch of Icarids, bunch of Amalgams and Archimedes, and then 3 Bridge, 3 Poxwalkers. So that's what I'm going to take into the battle today. Just trying out the Noxious. Obviously they're going to be an improvement, it's just making space is difficult because the Poxwalker Bridge from Below Cabal Therapy package is much bigger than 4 Chills and 2 Ghouls, so it's a bit harder to find space for these flexible utility cards that can keep you in a game. You're going to much more just be a bit faster. I did want to cut another Thug, but I feel like 11 Dredges is a bit too aggressive. I considered cutting a Therapy for a second Noxious main deck, but I found the Therapies to actually be... They just combo anyway with Bridge, right? So they were already quite good, and I like having the interaction. So this is what I'm going to run, maybe a bit light on Wastelands, but we'll see how Spinning Darkness does. The reason I got to Spinning Darkness is Containment Priest per Goldfish is the most played creature in the format at the moment, so having a 1 card answer to that in the mid game could be good. So we'll see how that goes. It's just a little test, and I'll see you for round 1. Okie dokie, round 1 we're up against Sorry I'm So Tilted. Last seen out on Lurrus Saga, but they haven't shown a Saga today, unless that gets shown in a moment when when I've done my mulligans. I can't imagine so. What do I want on the bottom here? Probably just a Therapy. None of this matters on the bottom, does it? Let's just put Therapy down. Oh no, maybe I should just maintain the Dredges in my deck, so let's do that. So keep going to find Bazaar. We found one. How many cards is this? 5. Just 2 Narcs then. Or yeah, Narc. Dink, dink, done. And they're on the play. That's awkward. It's not usually good for us being on the draw. Let's see what they've got. They've not got a Lurrus, which I think is the first time out for them getting a... Well, obviously they could have played something else, but all of their other listings that I saw were Lurrus, so yeah. Hopefully something good comes out of today, because I did enjoy this list last week. I then tried a league without blue and with more Noxious Revivals, and that didn't go very well. I went 2 and 3, so I've reintroduced the blue. Okay, opponent started on a probe. As they now know my hand. That's all we've had. So, yeah, sorry you missed the probe, it kind of just blinked onto the screen and then disappeared again. So, my opponent plays Verdant and passes a turn back. I feel like my Modo is playing up, it's a bit weird, but Verdant and pass? Yeah, no, it was really laggy. Tap Bazaar. Oh, this is gross. So what do we want to get rid of? So if I'm not untapping with my Bazaar against Verdant Catacombs, I guess that's a very safe bet. Then I think I want more dredges in my yard. So let's drop an Icarid, a Stinkweed Imp, a Golgari Thug. And then if I do untap with Bazaar, that's great. If I don't untap with Bazaar, that's fine. Because I've now got 2 dredges to get my game plan going. Don't know what opponent's on here. And then yeah, if I do get to the point where I'm dredging, then hopefully these 2 guys that I've just discarded will. Let me get my graveyard out for you. This is tough. So opponent walks. Yeah. So if we do get to discard, if we do get to untap with Bazaar, which we don't, never mind. So it's just gonna be Stinkweed Imp and go slow. Oh, good grief. That's not great, is it? No, I won't use Icarid. Let's dredge a Stinkweed Imp. And we hit... Oh, I would have drawn a Bazaar. The savagery. So I did hit a Stinkweed Imp and a Shambling Shell. So I've got Thug Shell Imp, which is quite nice. So they are on a bug list, but it's going to be like a big bug list. I think Wessel won a challenge last week with a big bug list. No Lurrus. Usually the bug decks are quite hard for the Bazaar strategies. But let's see what their follow-up is. So if we can dredge like a bridge or something, then our Icarids will start to do something. Tarmogoyf's not great for us, but if I can get to... I probably want to therapy myself at some point as well. I will eat... No, I won't. Will I eat now? This is tough already. I was hoping to not have like decisions this early on in the tournament. I wanted my brain to get active first. So if I eat my shell, they eat my imp, and then I'm dredging for... Is that good? I then get to therapy myself. Pitching maybe a therapy, and then therapy them. I can therapy a bridge out of my hand, but then I won't see the bridge go. I feel like I'm going to just dredge my Stinkweed Imp and not do the Icarid just yet, and hope that at some point my graveyard is quite overwhelming. They're going to eat the 2 Icarids now. I didn't hit a... Yeah. Because I don't know, a 3/1 doesn't do much in the face of a Tarmogoyf, right? So they're going to eat one of my creatures. I imagine it's going to be an Icarid of some variety. Oh no, they went for a Thug. Okay. That's interesting. So they're going to eat the other Thug at sorcery speed, I guess. They get in with Tarmogoyf. They're just going to give me the Thug. Life from the Loam targets Wasteland and Verdant. And it comes back to me. I'm going to say no to the Icarids. No. I know I'm dying quickly, but the Deathrite should... Well, if I hit a creature at any point... I feel like I can get enough resources into the graveyard to overwhelm the Deathrite, is what I'm trying to do. Because they've only got 1 activation a turn. I've still got that shell backed up. They've just eaten one of the Icarids now. And then on my turn I get to eat Grief with Icarid, and then I'll get to trigger a bridge, which will put something in play. And then that will allow me to... Oh, now I'm on 7 cards in hand as well. I feel like we've got outs. At some point in my life I'll hit a Narcomoeba. Or maybe there's 2 on the bottom of my deck. Maybe that was this. We'll go to 9. Opponent's got 5 cards. And they dig. Okay. This doesn't look good for us, but I think it's certainly... I don't think it's lost. I think it's very close to lost. And then it's just a case of how we do post board, I guess. We'll have Vigor's post board for their ley lines. And then they've got Collector Reef, sure, right. That's fine. Deathrite Shaman won't die to my Spinning Darkness either. And I think they're just looking at whether they want to eat something now. With the Deathrite. So opponent eats an Ichorid. Cool. Fine. So this Ichorid triggers, and we will. This time we will exile a Grief. Then we'll dredge a Stinkweed Imp. And now I've got 2 therapies. There's a bridge there. So let's therapy myself. And I'm not attacking with this because I don't want to eat the Collector Reef. I've got Troll, Shambling Shell, yeah, that's fine, so I can get back up next turn. So let's therapy myself, make a bridge token and a Poxwalker. And now I'd name, I guess, Bridge from Below to start with. Let's see if this resolves though, because they might just counter it just for the fun of it. But I'm going to put some bodies into play this turn with single bridge and Poxwalker therapies. Oh no, I have to put the other therapy in the yard first, don't I? Interesting. So if I bridge myself, bridge from below, yeah, I'm going to... Yeah, bridge from below is correct, I think. Bridge from below. On me. And now I'm going to therapy myself, sacrificing my Poxwalkers, which is going to make 2 tokens this time. Bring back my Poxwalkers. Now I'll name Cabal Therapy this time. I force that one. Sure. Force pitching Lorien, and then it's back to them. I got some chump blockers. They've got a Ponder. We need to be careful with how we kill their creatures, but also we need their creatures to die. So, but we now look like we have some vague amount of hope in this game. I've got 27 cards left in my deck. Obviously they've got an active Deathrite Shaman and I've not got many life points, but that seems fine. Demonic Tutor. They've got like a main deck Soul Guide Lantern that would just completely ice this game, but I don't know what bug plays in that respect. So Demonic Tutor and 1 card in hand. So DT resolves and they just Ancestral themselves. And they're back up to 4 cards. So good on them. See what else they come with. This is another Deathrite. No, Deathrite eats my Ichorid. That's cool. It's not cool, but it's certainly something that just happened. I think I'll let them hit me first this time. And then I'll get to dredge a Troll. And now I'll get to cast a Hogak. They've got 4 cards in hand, that's fine. I guess exiling my Bazaars makes it so that they don't have mana out of their guy. And do I want to attack this turn? No. Okay. Over to you. Discard a Grave Troll, get back an Amalgam. Because these 2 bridges are likely getting exiled now this turn. But I'm the person with the cards in play now. They've obviously had a very nice draw of their own and were able to present quite a lot of pressure. I don't know how many Okos they play, but they're halfway through their deck, so that could certainly be something they've got access to. Looks like it. That's an Oko. Oko's going to get my Hogak. My Hogak's going to chump block the Tarmogoyf. Oh, maybe not. Maybe my Hogak just eats the Collector Roof. So opponent comes in with Leovold. And what do your attacks look like in this spot? All of my creatures double up, right? That's the issue they've got. So let's dredge a troll, get a Narcomoeba, if they let me. They might not. Yeah, cool. So they eat the Narc, and then I kind of can't attack, right, because I lose my bridges, so let's just hang back, discard a Therapy this time. I've got Stinkweed Imp and I've got Shambling Shell, so they can't get both of them. They've got a second Deathrite Shaman. Yeah, none of these cards die to Spinning Darkness. But I did go to, so I think before I had 4 Sickening Shoals, so it's not really, I think 3 is the normal amount of Sickening Shoals for people to have. Doesn't mean I won't bring in Spinning Darkness, so I'm kind of interested in bringing that card in, I think. So last card in hand, or just activating Deathrite. Yeah, activating Deathrite on the Ichorid. And that's going to stop me basically from spewing out a massive board. That's all of my Ichorids gone. But they have left me with a Therapy. So let's dredge a Stinkweed Imp down to 10 cards in deck. And now, this is my only Therapy though. So what's the best way about this? Because I can crack Hogak. So let's Therapy myself. Make 2 bridge tokens and a Poxwalker. And then I'll name Prized Amalgam. And that'll go away. And now I'll cast Hogak and bring back another Prized Amalgam. And exile a bunch of cards that don't do anything. That triggers my Amalgam. And now I guess I can attack. I gotta go after Oko, I assume. Maybe actually I'm supposed to eat like more instants and sorceries. My bridges are gonna go away. I'm gonna get 2 more zombies. Oh, so maybe this whole line was supposed to be done post combat. Never mind. So the ones about the opponent go on to the stack first, so I get my 2 zombies. I've done all of this zombieing stuff and they still basically have more creatures than us. They elk the Hogak again, which I think is just in play now. I don't think I can do anything about that. Do I want to dredge? I've got 10 cards. What am I dredging to? Amalgams, Narcs into double Deathrite? I guess not. I guess we can try and like maybe possibly draw a Grief if there's one left. There's one Bazaar left, so that's weird and interesting. So how many Griefs are left? So there's 1 Grief there, 2 Griefs in the yard. So there's 1 Grief remaining, 1 bridge remaining. No therapies, I don't think. Therapies. There's 1 Therapy as well. Do I just have to slay? I just die on the way back through, don't I? Okay, so let's go to combat. I should have played my Bazaar first. How do we ever get there? I think I'm really quite capped on how much damage I can deal in this game. Post board, I'm going to have basically all of the green cards and all, yeah, basically everything that's not a ley line is probably going to come in some shape or form. Oko has to die. If I attack, that's 12, so that's 24, so they can just take it all and kill me. Hogak, 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 Hogak. Not Hogak, Oko. They're going to get to eat something and then eat something. Yeah, no, I'm just throwing away material here, so I think I just lose. Post board I feel a bit better, but they will have more nonsense to come at us with as well, obviously. I don't know what the sideboard looks like, but I'm going to look it up in a moment. So let's see. Yep, Goif eats Amalgam. Oko dies. What's my hollow one count? 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the hollow ones have gone. I felt like I had one more grief. I'm just going to play it and activate and just draw the cards. If they have a Bowmaster here, that's going to hurt. Oh, if they haven't. They've got a fucking Leovold, haven't they? Never mind. None of these cards matter. So, any order wasn't the draw we thought it was. I just lost my mind. And now they're going after my spells because they're going to try and close out this game. So, yep, I go to 3 and then they untap and kill me. Cool, yeah, fine. So let's go to sideboarding. Okay, so just looking at Shatoon's list from last weekend, which was the showcase. They had post board, 1 tab, 2 trophy, 4 leyline. I imagine that's what's coming in. I will bring in the tab hate because of Deathrite Shaman being a pain in the ass, basically. Collect Roof and Goif are their only non-black creatures, so Spinning Darkness has to stay at home, unfortunately. What do we want to cut? Negation doesn't really do anything. I think I can trim a Therapy. Maybe trim a Bridge. Maybe I'm just supposed to be cutting all these Force of Wills before I start shaving random nonsense out of here. No Needle from the opponent, by the looks of things. So maybe Misstep can go. But Misstep kills Deathrite. I don't like cutting the Griefs. What if I just trim all the nonsense and have... Oh gosh. This is not a matchup that I'd thought about, really. I always trim a Thug. So 40 seconds and 3 cuts. I really wanted to keep the Forces just because the Forces can protect my Vigors. But maybe I'm just supposed to rely on the rest of the deck to protect the Vigors. Like Griefs and Therapies, Narcomoebas, Bridges, Shells. Yeah, this is what I'm going to register. I'm not convinced about this sideboarding, but I think I've got to just use my discard to get there. To protect the Vigors. So this is a leyline. No, this hand loses to leyline, is the words I'm trying to say. Let's keep it, see what they've got. I guess they mulligan to leyline with the build that they've got at the moment. I wish I had it, like a green card would be a fantastic start to this hand. No leyline. Okay. interesting. So let's activate Bazaar. Does that just mean wastelands and stuff? So just waiting on the opponent for our Bazaar activation. Okay, so our Bazaar activation yielded minimal fruit, really. So let's drop 2 Stinkweed Imps. I guess just an Icarid. But we're going to get wasted so hard. Never mind. Alright, let's go. Any order. Over to you. This is our graveyard. And the reason we're doing like these double dredge pitches to start is just to play around as much wasteland as we can. So they've got Bayou Sapphire, which is a lot of mana. Ancestral. Okay, so they just had like a really powerful hand rather than a dredge hate specific hand by the looks of things. If you've played your Bayou, probably don't want to play your Bayou before. Or Beseech. Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say before playing your wasteland. Let's give it a shuffle. Nope. Okay, so it's over to me. My Icarid's going to go off. I'm going to say no. I'm going to dredge a Stinkweed Imp. And hit another Icarid and a Grief. Noxious and a Vigor. So, opponent has a Brainstorm as well. So it was Beseech. Turn 1 Beseech, turn 1 Ancestral is pretty powerful against us. It's really going to slow us down, which is where they want us to be. Yeah, pleased they didn't have Leyline because we were going to struggle against that. Ancestral Beseech versus Leyline as well. So, another Time Walk. Traditional bug openings. But let's see what the follow-up is on their walk turn. It's a hard cast Leyline of the Void into Delta. Okay. Oh, fuck. So no. No. Do I pick up the shell now or do I pick up the shell later? I guess I can just get the shell later. If they show me a Deathrite is when I'll pick up the shell, which I'll need to do at some point to play Vigor. Now our opponent's going to deploy threats. Oko, and Oko is going to make relatively short work of this match. Or I could just kill the Oko. Yeah, let's do that. So, cancel on the draw step. That's a Bazaar of Baghdad. That's a nice enough draw for now. Let's go to combat. And kill the Oko, because then we're not under threat and we've got more time to go and find our Vigors. Obviously they could have a Force of Will. They're paying some costs, which is interesting. Trophy my Icarid, sure. And we'll play and activate Bazaar, because if we hit Hollow Ones, that's great. If we hit Vigor, that's great. So Hollow One. It's an Icarid, so let's get rid of Pox, Bridge, and Narc. These are the things we might need later. Let's cast a Hollow One. This will get forced if anything gets forced, so in this match. So they wasteland my Bazaar. And that's that. Cool. And we've just got this Shambling Shell lurking in our graveyard where we can go and get it if and when we draw a Vigor. So, bringing back the double Icarid kind of went well there. Them treasure cruising isn't great, for me at least. They stand up a food token, they play a Tabernacle, and a Deathrite Shaman. So now I've got to pick up the shell, which is going to eat a draw step. That's fine. Didn't hit anything of relevance. So now it's over to the opponent. And yeah, bug and shops have always been the decks you don't really want to play on your Bazaar strategies. They're just inherently good against you. Yeah, so our opponent's going to take their time and beat us down. And we're just looking for exactly one of our 3 remaining figures. There it is. Over to you. They have a Vampiric Tutor on end step by the looks of things. Oh no, a Deathrite activation, sorry. So I need to do this stuff. And then let's try and kill a Leyline and a Sapphire by pitching this shell and then going to round 2 if they have their Force of Will. Force of Will, pitching Force of Will. Cool. See you for round 2. Okay, so we're up against Bernas Torres in round 2. And I did restart Modo, but we've still got more lag than God. And with that, we've got a lot of hollow ones. So let's keep this hand. This hand's pretty darn cool. And we'll play a Bazaar. Spin the Bazaar. We've got 2 easy discards here. Make that 3, and we got a negation as well. Wow. This is it. This is why you play Dredge. Let's play a hollow one. See if opponent fancies forcing it. They do. So let's play another hollow one. See if they fancy forcing that. Nope. And let's play a chalice. Let's hope that locks them out. So really just like the best dredge duel you're going to get, right? Your best dredger, your Force of Will behind, 2 hollow ones, obviously one didn't resolve, Wasteland comes in, binks my Bazaar, and we'll just dredge a Grave Troll. That's a Hogak, so let's attack for 4. And then, what else do we hit? Stinkweed Imp, Shambling Shell, an Icarid and a Poxwalker. So they've got a polluted Delta, sends them to 14. Oh, is this going to be our day? Is this it? Is this how our day unfolds? Just bug into bug into bug into bug. I'm going to eat a Shambling Shell. I'm not a coward. I can hit another Dredger. Got a Narcomoeba and a Therapy and a Bridge. Perfect. Use Narcomoeba's ability. Yes, please. And now I will Therapy my opponent. Cracking my Narc, I guess. Making a Bridge token and a Poxwalker. What do we want to name? Is it just Tarmogoyf? Is it Oko? It's probably Oko. If it gets through. Because this is going to give me a Hogak. And then an attack for 4. Okay, Thief of Crowns. Let's name that. They've got Daze, Force, Force, Bayou. Okay, so... what does that mean for our Hogaks then? It means it's going to get binked on. So what if I just attack them instead? Slay, in for 7. Because if they're just forcing my Hogak, there's no point in giving up my 3 points of damage here. And then we'll pass to them and get another token off of our Icarid instead. So we did miss on Dredgers after eating our shell. But it looks like it's not going to matter anyway. They play an Underground Sea, so we know their hand. They can eat stuff if they want to eat stuff. They need to eat the Hogak before I get to eat it with my Icarid, so that would tap them out. They'd go to 9 and then they'd die. So that seems like they're in a tough spot, because they're going to get Icarided and take 10. So yeah, I agree. Alright. Chalice, green cards, removal, strip mines, and I think it's just the forces go, and then we can trim. I could thin on dredgers. I think I can drop a therapy, a thug, and 1 grief, and try and keep a bit more going on. I don't know. As I said last round, I hadn't really given this matchup a great amount of thought. I hadn't given the sideboard much thought over the last few days, other than I want to try spinning darkness. That looks fun. So we'll see how we get on in games 2 and 3 here. But it's nice to get a game win. It's always, I completely forgot that they won with the bug put up results last weekend. Otherwise, I could have just not played the challenge and had a Saturday evening of doing something else. Because the week after a bug victory is always a bad time to be on Bazaar. Right, so perfect mulligans here, because we mulligan to 2. We'll keep this. We'll keep the imp. But this is the perfect mulligan, right? Because we're on the draw. So, and they've got a ley line. So let's see their opening hand. See how many pieces of power plus a ley line and a Deathrite Shaman they kept. Oh, they didn't keep any. Okay. Let's just pass back and build up some cards. But yeah, you mulligan to 0 when you're on the draw facing hate. So that's how that works. They play Misty and pass back. We've got another Bazaar. Let's go look for a hollow one or something. We didn't find one. Nor did we find a green card. So we'll pass. We'll hold this Bazaar just because it's going to get wastelanded this turn anyway. So they fetch. Play Deathrite. And then we need to draw a black card. Well, Deathrite doesn't really do much against us at the moment, but so maybe we don't need to draw a black card. Opponent giving it some thought, sends it back. Poxwalkers. Do I just kill the Deathrite Shaman now? Or do I go looking for green cards? Let's just give them the turn. And see if they come up with anything. They've got 5 cards. I'm actually already bored of this game. Okay, yeah. And they fetch. And they eat it. Please be Oko, please be Oko, please be Oko. Now set. Sure. That's fine. Let's go to a game where we've got, more than 1%. We won the play this time. I think this setup looks good. Yeah, I think this setup looks good. I think the question is if we want to cut say the Hogak or an Icarid for our 4th grief. It can't be the Gak, I don't think, because it's green. Let's try this. So yeah, and then we keep 7 because we're skilled gamers. The discard into the face of a ley line isn't easy though. That's going to be a tough one to decide. No ley line, perfect. So let's activate Bazaar. We'll discard all of our graveyard boys. Any order. Cast a hollow one. So we've got the shell just sat there for when we need it. This is our graveyard. Opponent lets it resolve, so we're about to get tabernacled. I've actually got tabernacle covered, haven't I? So that's quite cool. That's not something that happens every day. We've got a Deathrite Shaman, okay. Let's dredge now. Thug, shell, discard, discard, discard. Any order, and then mill a Thug again, and hit 2 Narcomoebas. That's cool. So now we probably won't be playing our second Bazaar, I don't think. I think it's going to be attack for 4, therapy, you play Strip Mine, and then I'll have Poxwalker's Amalgam, Hollow One, and an Narcomoeba, and Insurance against the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. So let's therapy you, get rid of this guy, make a Poxwalker. Name Oko, I guess. I don't know what the joke is here. Tabernacle, Oko, DT, Walk, Cruise, Waste. So the Wasteland's annoying. So the Oko's going to go away. I'll play the Strip Mine because we're going to be on just Icarids shortly after that. Yield to this guy. They're going to have to waste me and then time walk and then tab me. So that's going to use a lot of their resources. So Wasteland comes in. They've got to Wasteland the Strip Mine if they want their Tabernacle to ever stay in play. I get to Wasteland their Underground Sea. So then they'll just be on Deathrite Shaman for mana, depending on their time walk turn. And I'll still have a Bazaar active. They eat my Strip Mine. Play time walk. Oko's gone. They'll play Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. And we'll have some work to do. I cut an Icarid, didn't I? Yeah. These are the games where it's annoying when you cut an Icarid. But cutting an Icarid can be a reasonable place to be. But the big issue the opponent's got now is just access to mana. Because they essentially have to tab me this turn, I think. Yeah. So they tab me and they've got 2 turns of playing a Deathrite Shaman to find a land. We unfortunately have to press no a lot. Okay, I'm going to let everyone die. Yeah, I don't need to look for bridges right now, I need to look for Icarids is what we're after. I've got 4 cards in hand. Oh yeah, they've had 2 turns, sorry. Okay, so we'll judge Shambling Shell, that's 1 Icarid. Any order. And then we'll dredge our Grave Troll. We'll get Hogak. How many cards have I got? 28. So let's dredge Stinkweed Imp and Golgari Thug. And discard these 3. Any order. Let's make some Narcomoebas, and I've got a therapy in there as well. Yeah. Let's therapy you, and I guess we name. Do we name DT or Cruise? Or is like Mox Emerald? I don't know. I think I'm going to name the DT, because that's just going to get something like a Bajuka Bog or some shit. It's that blue mana. Okay, so they're just countering it. They've got like a Spell Pierce or something. Oh no. Lorien revealed? I don't know. Let's just name Demonic Tutor. Oof. A tough day for typing. DT Force Crew is cool. So they don't have a DT. It's over to the opponent. I can't make a Hogax, that's fine. I do have 2 Icarids. What did they have? They had a Wasteland, was their last land. So we need them to just keep missing lands, and then maybe our 2 Icarids can get there. Did they eat an Icarid earlier? Is that right? No, so I've got 1 more Icarid. They pay for their own death, right? Which I guess they have to do. Oh no, they don't. They just eat the bridge. Weird. Weird timing. Found a tropical island, but the death right's gone. So now let's click through the most cursed upkeep of all time. I'm glad they did that actually, because now I don't have to click through the bridge triggers as well. What a Magic Online. So it's going to be the Icarid show to see it out against this Tabernacle. We probably don't need to do much else. Okay. So yeah, cool. Opponent's here. Grief can get exiled. I need to yield to all of these. Okay. Grief can get exiled. And I rapidly jam the no button. Cool. The clicking exercise of Dredge can sometimes be a bit laborious, especially in this double no era of Magic Online. But opponent did us a service by killing our bridge. So draw step, let's Dredge a troll just in case they've got some bright ideas. And then combat will get in for some damage. Did I find another therapy? No, I need to check my exile zone, because finding a therapy actually wouldn't be a disaster here, because I could get their treasure cruise. Then it goes to 10. So activate this. I've got 13 cards. So Thug. Yeah, that sounds fine. Thug. Actually, Thug Shell I think sounds better. Did I hit therapy off the first one? No. Let's just go Thug Shell. Still no therapies. Any order. Yeah. Have I got therapies? 1, 2. 2 in exile. 1 in the sideboard, so I've got 1 in 6. Oh well, it's just... I want to make sure I've got enough cards in deck, right, to attack them a bunch. So we'll pass the turn. Icarid will go off, Bridge will go off. They've got 6 cards in graveyards. They can wasteland me and then cruise. So maybe I was supposed to just push a bit harder, but Tropical Island. I'll just pay 2 mana. Cool. Treasure Cruise. Plays a Sapphire. Cool. Now we click buttons. I found another Ichorid though, so that's going to speed this up a little bit. Ichorid can eat amalgams, which will save amalgams coming into play, you see. So it's all about reducing the number of clicks. There we go. It's the main strategy you need to consider as the Dredge pilot. And this is why Ichorid's so good, right? This is just... Opponent played a Tabernacle into our healthy board. And with just a little bit of rebuild, we were able to bring it back to this. I'm going to just draw my card for the turn. Where else would my therapy be? No, it wasn't. Okay. So let's get in for 9, sending the opponent to 1. Force of Wills are then off. At my end step, I'm going to make 6 tokens in an amalgam. Ding, ding, ding. And the reason I didn't dredge for the Thug or the Shell here to get the Vigor online for their last turn is that would put me down to 3 cards in deck. And, you know, I don't want to get Ancestral or some shit. Everything's going to die, everything's going to come back. Magic Online ticks through at its own pace. And we'll pass the opponent. Let's see if they've got anything for us. Surgical on Ichorids would win the game on the spot. And they can see the match, perfect. See you for round 3. Okay, round 3 we're up against Usunk, and we've won the die roll, which is kind of dope. I don't know what they're playing, but we've got a powder hand, and another powder hand. One of the Ichorids is gone. And a regular mulligan, so let's get down to 6 cards now, and now to 5. And we'll keep this with double hollow 1. So the powder can go back, and I guess the Force Negation can't really go back, can it? Well, it can. It's just... I guess the Grief goes back then? No, so I'm always just discarding whatever I draw, right? So I guess the Force Negation goes back. We activate Bazaar, discarding Therapy +2. And next turn we can dredge into a Grief if that flies. So... Because I've got Bazaar and 2 cards, right? So I'm always keeping 1, so I'm never going to be able to keep Force blue card. And Grief I can get back online 2 next turn is the logic there. Depending on what I draw, obviously, because like if I draw another hollow one, then the Grief's gone. Yeah. So what? So everything's going to end up in the graveyard next turn. I could discard Force of Will, Bridge from Below, Hollow 1, and then Grief cast, and I have 6 power instead of 8 power, but I get to look at the Grief. I don't know if that's better. Interaction, they didn't show me a Lurrus, which could just mean they're on bug. I think I'm just going to discard the 3 I said I was going to discard. I'm going to cast my 2 hollow ones. Graveyard order I don't think matters pre-board. It does post-board, so that's something to try and remember. I'm not going to therapy them, and it's over to the opponent for their turn 1. We did miss on a Dredger there, which is kind of upsetting, but if they kill my hollow ones with non-plow measures, then I'll get a token. Is it going to be our 3rd bug matchup of the day? Lurrus confirmed dead and gone. Or we're going to get something different. Opponents have to 8. City of Traitors. I can't begin to say what that means. Mono red? I guess. Blood Moon, yeah, so mono red. Okay. Mono red famous for having like infinite fucking shatters as well. So let's get in for 8 and then we'll hit them with a grief. Grief's gonna make us a bridge token. And if we need to, we'll therapy them. So evoke our grief. So what does this all do? Rabble Master, Chandra, Norod, Chalice. Their hand doesn't do anything. How are they supposed to stay alive? Let's take the Rabble Master and make a token. Cool. So over to the opponent, and I don't know what they've got in their deck. Obviously, it's a off-meta deck. It looks like one where I can imagine them having reasons I'd want Noxious. I can imagine them having Tabernacles, and I can imagine wanting to kill Magus of the Moon. So I think I'll trim a Therapy. I'm just going to completely cut all the griefs on the draw, and then I need 6 cuts from there. So 1 Thug, and this is the problem with this package being so big. I like the blue in this matchup. Maybe Chalice is an easy cut as well, so we've got 4 more to go. Kind of grim, actually. I'm pretty sure they're going to have like Grafdigger's Cage and Magus and Blood Moon. So maybe my Noxiouses aren't actually relevant, but they are green. So maybe it's just trim some Therapy, some Poxwalkers, a bridge, and we'll just go on to like an Amalgam Narcomoeba plan. I don't know, this doesn't look good to me. This does not look good to me. Mental Misstep. No, Needle and Cage. I don't know what to cut. 2 Therapy, 2 Walkers, 2 Bridge. It's got to be a payoff of some variety. It can't be the Gak because that's black. Or red, or green, sorry. It's black and green. But I'm low on Vigor Pitch anyway, so... Can it really be another Thug? That would leave me with 10 Dredges. That's what I'm going to try. On the draw, I think I really need these forces. On the play, I think I can get away with just Griefs and trim on blue. It's just going to be whether we can find enough Dredges to do anything once we've got going, if we get going. So Vigor, Bazaar, blue card. Yeah, cool. So this is tough, because I can keep this and drop one of my 10 Dredges, right? Then if they're doing Blood Moon stuff, is Strip Mine actually good? Because their Tabernacle's a mountain. Let's see what that sounds like. Mono Red Prison. So we've got Needle, Blood Moon, Leyline, Cage, all covered from this Vigor. Lotus Petal's going to be fine from me. I think this Force of Will is mostly locked onto yeah, so can I just let that resolve? Force of Will is mostly locked onto Magus is what I was thinking. Okay, so we let that resolve. No, I can't let that resolve because I need my Noxious Revival. Sorry, that took me a moment. So yeah, so I need my Noxious Revival for this Strip Mine, and I need to find a Shambling Shell for this Vigor. There we go. We did all of those things. So let's just do that and pass the turn. See how far we get. They've got 3 cards in hand after their big resource punting turn 1. They are incentivized to Strip Mine me. And then they've got a land. So one thing I could do here is just dredge a shell and wasteland them. Or dredge an imp and wasteland them and pick up later. Just try and stop them building into the game. No, that seems really bad. Let's get a Bazaar. It just means I am coming off of this wasteland though, is the thing. I don't want an Icarid, I think I'm fine this turn. And I want to draw my Bazaar of Baghdad. So let's play Bazaar, activate it, dredge a shell, an imp, dredge a shell, discard these 3, maintaining access to a vigor. Say yes. That's going to make a prized amalgam on end step. Over to the opponent. They've got an ancient tomb. And their follow up is nothing. What have I got? I guess I have to go. That was awkward because now I don't have access to a vigor at all. Yep. So we're going to trigger an amalgam. We're going to Icarid's going to eat Shambling Shell, because I'll come off that vigor. Icarid can eat a Stinkweed Imp, because I've got an imp and a grave troll down the bottom there. Draw step, I'll just dredge my troll. And now I'll go to combat. Attack them for a bunch of damage. They go to 10. I don't know what I'm scared of. Therapy U. Name Ensnaring Bridge. They have already played that. Chandra, Torch of Defiance, Leyline of the Void, Blood Moon, Megs of the Moon. It can't be. They can't have Cage. They can't have Needle. It's got to be a 4-drop. Anger of the Gods. Could you play that in Vintage? I don't know. I've got no idea what I'm supposed to name here, but I've got another therapy to give after this, I think. So, Fury. All right. Well, that's game. Cool. That is game. They agree. So yeah, no, off meta deck, which is hard to sometimes navigate when you don't know what they're doing, but we did in fact win the match. So I'll see you for round 4. Okay, round 4 up against Il Nano. We've won another die roll, which is kind of dope. And this is a 2 Bazaar hand, so this could be a good game 1 for us, depending on what they come with at the beginning. I don't recognise this username. I haven't looked them up. I could do that actually. Okay, after looking at the opponent, they have one vintage result in a prelim in 2022 where they played mono white. So, don't know how much I can take from that. What have we got here? So let's discard Imp, Icarid, and I guess I can get rid of a Poxwalkers, or maybe I just want to do the amalgam now. I'll do the shell now. That can go anywhere, and then I'll pitch Poxwalkers to my grief, and they are on mono white again. So what they're doing at the moment, turn 1 is Sapphire, Chrome Mox, pitch White Plume, Chrome Mox, pitch Seasoned Dungeoneer, Amiri's Call, play Seasoned Dungeoneer. So that's all of their cards, and then I definitely can race that. Or I could just take a Chrome Mox and cope with turn 1 White Plume. Oh no, if I take Amiri's Call, then they need to draw a land to play turn 1 Seasoned Dungeoneer. It just looks like they're exceptionally all in on... I'm going to take the Amiri's Call, because then they've only got turn 1 White Plume as we can see it now. and if they do draw land, they'll have turn 1 Seasoned Dungeoneer and no cards in hand. So I'm pretty sure we can beat a lone Seasoned Dungeoneer. So there goes one Dungeoneer and a Chrome Mox. There's a Sapphire. That's my graveyard. Chrome Mox pitch. It's the other Seasoned Dungeoneer. And they play a White Plume. Okay, so they played all their cards. They're going to get basic planes. We're going to do something that resembles killing them this turn. So let's dredge a Stinkweed Imp. Let's dredge a Shambling Shell. And I hit a Thug, so I only need to get an Imp into the graveyard. So that means I can go to these guys. Any order's fine. Let's exile a Grief. And then we'll dredge Stinkweed Imp for the turn. And basically we just need to hit a bridge from below at any point in this turn. But we've got 2 Bazaars, so that should be doable. So let's get the Thug out of there. And there's a Grave Troll and a bridge, so that should be game. Right, so this is why you don't want to play Spinning Darkness, because every time you activate Bazaar, it's going to ask if your graveyard order is okay. So let's crack the Narcomoeba. How many bridges did I get? Just the 1. So let's crack a Narcomoeba. Let's therapy them and name. What can they ever have? What can they ever have in this spot? So they played White Plume. Maybe it's just another Seasoned Dungeoneer. I don't know. I don't know what to name. Trinosphere wouldn't have done anything. Archon they can't have. Chancellor of the Annex, I guess, is the one thing they can have. Maybe a Solitude, actually. Let's name Solitude. Chrome Mox. Sure. Well, I'm going to pitch my Poxwalker anyway, because then I'll get a Hogak into play. And then I can... So let's take that Chrome Mox. I need to do all of this pre-combat before my bridge goes away, basically. So your Chrome Mox is gone, you've got basic planes. They're never casting anything again, so I guess I can therapy myself for fun. Or I could therapy them and name You Are Already Dead. I don't know. I don't know which is correct in this spot. But let's just therapy myself and name Shambling Shell. So Shambling Shell, and then we'll cast our Hogak. Exiling a bunch of nonsense, and then we'll attack for 3. They'll be possibly forced to block it so that they get their Scry 2 on their upkeep. Nope, just give it straight across. I don't have any basics. And then I have got some triggers. Cool. So 2 Bazaars did overcome a fairly anemic mono white hand. I think 1 Bazaar would have probably done well at getting there. But yeah, so we win game 1. We need the removal. They might have a Tabernacle. They definitely have Wastelands. So same as before. We'll pitch Grief. We'll pitch Misstep. We'll pitch Chalice. I guess me within 5. Yeah, I'm really struggling with sideboarding today. Poxwalkers I think is really good against mono white. I could actually just cut the Wastelands and just move on to Icarids if they have Tabernacle. I don't hate that as a plan. And then 1 Thug. 1 bridge, because I'm trying to kill their creatures. I don't know if that actually makes sense, but... And then that mismatch therapy, although that's the real therapy. Difficult decisions, difficult decisions. One note here is I am just keeping the blue on the draw, just because their hands are so explosive. And I think we will be negating Moxen, as long as our hand allows it, sort of thing. Negating Moxen to try and slow them down to get that first Bazaar activation and get our deck rolling. But it is the sort of matchup where we do kind of want to see our Sickening Shoals in our opener as well, because they're moving up to about 4 priests post board, I think. Okay, so we'll keep this hand. Obviously, you don't actually get much selection with Dredge, but these therapies look bad. These therapies you really don't want to draw. But let's see what they come with. Hopefully they get like Sapphire into Chrome Mox, and then we just bink both before they get mana out of them. I would be pitching a Shell in this spot and holding the Revival. Because when Revival's in your hand against a Wasteland deck, it's always like your best card. Opponent's having a think. Maybe they've got a Leyline. Leyline into Chrome Mox would make me quite happy. So nothing pre-game, Ancient Tomb, and pass. That's weird. So what can we glean from that? They're on a mulligan to 4. Or 5, sorry. Let's cast this. Let's discard Shell, Imp, and Icarid. Okay, and let's cast the Hollow One. Maybe it's just a Wasteland draw. And they just had to play a land on turn 1 to do that. Or maybe it's an Anointed Peacekeeper. I don't know. I think Peacekeeper makes sense. I think Wasteland makes sense. If it's Containment Priest draw, it's really bad. It's like a really bad Containment Priest draw. But Containment Priest I still have issues with, right? So like I'd have to go and find myself a Sickening Shoal or a Spinning Darkness. So Cavern of Souls. Name's human. And it is the Peacekeeper. Okay. So they're going to Peacekeeper my Bazaar. I'm going to get to do some dredging. Dredge a Stinkweed Imp on my draw step. Opponent finding Bazaar of Baghdad in the drop down menu. And they found it, so that's cool. So opponent's on 3 cards. Icarid's going to trigger. No. I guess I do want to, yeah, I want to dredge because I've got this Revival, right? So Icarid, Troll, Shambling Shell, Amalgam. So let's get in for our 4 points of damage whilst we can, whilst the going is good. And then I might be interested in eating some shells next turn to bring an Icarid into play, which would then bring in a priced Amalgam. So some things to consider. Let's just see what they've got as a follow-up. They're going to get in for their 3 points of damage as well. And then we'll see if they have a follow-up to this. Because turn 2 Peacekeeper is not enough hate, I don't think. I think they need more than that. And like if they pass here, I wouldn't say it's that they're out of gas. I'd say it's that they're holding a Containment Priest. They can't play White Plume without another land. They could go Land Season Dungeoneer, and that would be the thing that makes this scary, right? But then I'd have double make 2 Icarids, dredge a Golgari Grave Troll, cast a Hogak. So that would be neat. Okay, so opponent's passed priority, so it looks like it's a Containment Priest. So we'll bear that in mind. Maybe I only want to eat 1 shell and just have a bit of protection. Okay, no, I don't want to eat any shells. Cool, that's fine, you've got a Containment Priest. Nope. So we need to go and find ourselves the cards at this point. And dredging is still going to be faster due to the presence of Revival. So That's a Narcomoeba of Poxwalkers. No removal. Very unlucky. And then we will get in for 4. Because they have dealt themselves some damages. They've got a Solitude. Okay. That's fine, I think. They've got 1 card left in hand. They can hit us for 5, hit us for 5 down to 16. We might put ourselves down lower as we dredge through our deck a bit more and eventually pick up one of these removal spells. And then we'll kill the Anointed Peacekeeper and go from there, I think. Or maybe I was supposed to kill the Priest. Right, that's really annoying. That just locks me out, right? That one's savage. Okay. Do we have outs at all at this point? It's just drawing cards. And I need to draw... No, that's never going to happen. I just need to draw into Wasteland and Spinning Darkness. Or Sickening Shoal. Because I now can't cast my Noxious. So no. That was unfortunate as a follow-up. So I can't do that. That's a bizarre. Right, let's go to the next game because we're going to die in 2 turns and we'll never get time to draw another card. That was annoying. I thought we had that under wraps. So I like Chalice. I didn't bring in my Wastelands. I like Grief on the play. And I think I will just go and drop all of my blue at this point. And bring back a Thug or a Wasteland. Yeah, I think Wasteland looks good. Okay, so I've just swapped another therapy for a Wasteland. So we're going quite low on our therapy Poxwalker's bridge package, but I think we kind of need to. So that's 2 Sickening Shoals going. That's kind of gross because there's 2 removal spells left in our deck. That hand's pretty decent, so let's keep this. It is a Bazaar on 7, which is good. So let's go ahead and activate. No interaction. No dredges. Just purely the cards that we've got. They've got a Sapphire, a Ruby, a Moxjet, Cavern of Souls. So a powerful opener from the opponent. That name's Human. And what human do you have? Containment Priest. And they're going to flash it in now. Okay. Nope. So I think I'll just take a draw. That was not the draw we were looking for. So the Amalgam doesn't really do anything. We'll get rid of the Stinkweed Imp. I think I'm going to Wasteland them. Just see if that's their white mana. And then attack for 4. I appreciate that wasn't one of my Thalia outs there. They go to 16. This is my graveyard, sorry, I don't know where it's been this match. And let's hope that that was their source of white. That's an Ancient Tomb. Containment Priest is going to come in. We will ignore Icarid for now. What am I looking for in this match? I'm looking for one of our removal spells. So I think I'm just going to take Draw Steps for now. Grief is quite cool. So let's activate this. Say no to dredging. Say no to dredging. No hollow one. Okay, so let's discard the 3 cards there, and then let's cast a Grief. That might invoke like a Solitude or something. So maybe I should have attacked first. Yeah, so Solitude, Pitching Plough. And then we see another card from them. It's a White Plume. So they've now got no cards. I've got a hollow one. I'm winning the race at this point. I think next turn I'll dredge a Stinkweed Imp slowly. They draw a Mox Pearl. Which I can dredge a Stinkweed Imp just for the memes. So there's my Spinning Darkness. I drew a Powder for the turn. So I've still got my 2 Noxious in there, which will be able to get me a Spinning Darkness back. Let's get in for 4. So Bridge from below. And they've drawn a spell. Savagery. So after this turn I won't be able to attack. That's really unfortunate. We needed them to like not do this, I think is the best analysis I've got. They needed to not top deck a spell. So we'll draw a card. Like a normal card. Sickening Shoal. Okay. Sickening Shoal is fairly big game. How can I get anywhere though? Let's attack for 4. What a sick swing that is. Attack for 4, see if they want to come in with any sort of suicidal double block. They do not. So we'll get the initiative. And then we'll Sickening Shoal there. Containment Priest pitching our Amalgam. That's going to kill my bridge. Okay. Can I do anything about that? No. Cool. Bridge is gone. And then we'll do some dredging, I guess. So I've only got 1 dredger. Good grief. Stinkweed Imp. And a draw step, and it's a Bazaar. Oh, but 2 Narcs. Any order. Yeah. I'd lower Narcomoeba. And this is just going to make an entire squad of goons, I think. So they've got no cards in hand. Let's... How many Poxwalkers have I got? 1. That's still better, right? So let's get the Poxwalker into play. And 2 Amalgams. And then wish them luck. On their top deck for basically just Tabernacle at this point, I think. So, well, yeah. Them drawing the White Plume really put us under the gun, and we immediately responded with a top-decked Sickening Shoal, which was sickening. And we win the match, so fairly lucky there. We did obviously have like the active Bazaar that turn. Not saying we were going to get there for sure, but like, yeah, I don't know. You got to appreciate that we got quite lucky there to draw. Just as they're about to take hold of the game, right? If they get to the Forge, get 2 counters on the White Plume, I can never attack. I can never realistically block. Their Containment Priest is never dying. Blah, blah, blah. Even if it's 1 more turn, right, and they put the counters on the Containment Priest, and the following turn I top deck the Sickening Shoal, the Containment Priest is a 4/4, my Amalgam only does -3/-3. So, yeah, very lucky with our timings with 3 and 1. Okay, round 5, and we've got a nice 7-card hand. We're on the draw against Restrict Hollow one, who's revealed themselves a Lurrus over here. So, yeah, So let's see how this goes. I've not got a dredger. I have got a bridge. Let's see if they're on like a more of a PO build. So Island Sapphire. And then a Pearl. Good grief. All the power, all the time. We've got no interaction just yet. And they've got no plays. So not even buying a Lurrus, which is weird. So what does that mean? Containment Priest main deck? That would be wild. No, they're buying the Lurrus. So what's the draw for the turn? Shambling Shell, that's nice because that's our dredger. So let's play a Bazaar, activate, and we find Bridge, Grief. So I'm actually just going to discard the dredger and the 2 bridges. Or I could do 1 bridge, a Therapy as well. So then I can get loads of cards out of their hand. Or 2 bridges. I think I'll do 1 bridge, 1 Therapy. So any order over there. Let's pitch the Amalgam. No, let's pitch the Poxwalker because I'm using my Therapy now. Or I'm likely using my Therapy now. Depending on what they're left with. If they forced this actually, they did not, so that's cool. So let's see what they've got. Force of Negation, Dress Down Lurrus. So let's take your Force of Negation and then Therapy your Lurrus off my bridge token. Or I just want to take the Dress Down actually, because I don't really care about Force of Negation, do I? When they've got no other blue card. So yeah, let's take your Dress Down because that can stop the haste off Icarids and stuff. We'll get a bridge token, which will then strip a Lurrus of the Dream Den. Nice. So Lurrus gone, Dress Down gone. They're holding a negation and an Underground Sea. And that's not Wasteland. That's not anything that's going to impact us for the rest of this game. And they've conceded. Nice. That was pretty sick. I would like my Revival. I would like my Figures. Same old story. I would like all of these. They sometimes have 1 Tabernacle. Oh, dearie me. So, do I need forces here? Do I need the force package? I could drop 2 negations, keep a Force of Will, keep 2 Force of Wills with not many cards. No, I could bring back my other things, I think. So Bridge and Poxwalkers and just 3 therapies. Yeah, I found the 4th therapy to be quite bad, I think. I think that could be a cut somewhere, the 4th therapy. So no Bazaar. Now we've got 2 Bazaars, a Bridge, a Chalice. Oh, Chalice could have gone. I completely forgot about Chalice. Never mind. Chalice will counter their mid-game baubles. It's just... this hand does nothing against the Needle. That's why I need the forces on the draw, isn't it? It's because I'm just then down to 4 Vigors and 4 Griefs. Did I take the Griefs out as well? Sorry, it's been a weekend. Yes, yeah, so just cut all my interaction. Right, fabulous news. They mulligan to 5. They've got a Mana Crypt. They've fetched. And they've got a Yixo Jailer. So I did remove 1 Shoal from the game a moment ago. And what is important to note is that they is that my Spinning Darkness card is only non-black creatures. So we do need to keep this bridge in our hand for a moment. There's a Sickening Shoal. Let's get rid of the Thug just in case this gets through. Any order there. Cast a Chalice of the Void. See if that can get something out of them. It cannot. So let's Shoal the Jailer. At sorcery speed, I think. If they've got permission, they've got permission. We'll go and find another one. They've got Force of Will. Pitching Repeal. Okay. No cards in hand for the opponent, but obviously we're behind. None of our cards do anything. They can buy Lurrus this turn. that's what they do. So one more Sickening Shoal left in the deck. Maybe I was supposed to just like wait a while and try and get grief. Activate Bazaar. I just discarded black cards, that was awful. Wasteland them to keep them off of their Lurrus and then cast a hollow one. So now I get the initiative, right? Unless they found a land, they haven't, they can't attack. So over to me. I think I'm going to attack them. I don't know if I'm going to activate or not. I don't think I want to. I think I want to play around the idea of a wasteland in the future. How many hollow ones have gone? 2 already, so I'm on 1 hollow one. Yeah, I'm going to wait till next turn to activate, so I can hold this second Bazaar. Can you lose a flip, maybe? Yeah, nice one. Thanks for playing along. Still no land. Well, no land just yet. They'll get in with their jailer. They might have a post-combat land. Nice. That's looking good. So there's a powder. So that gives us a nice Bazaar activation here. Poxwalkers, Hogak. Yeah, none of this matters. Hogak is 2 colours. I'll play another Bazaar. I'm not going to use it for a while. We'll attack for 4. Our graveyard is over here. It's just irrelevant, to be honest. So still trying to fade the opponent drawing lands. Oh, they've got a difficult decision, right? If they attack and take 4, they go to Mana Crypt flips. If you don't attack and you chump block, then I get... Yeah, cool. Then I get my graveyard and you die. So, yeah, nice. Lucky draw on the hollow ones. Don't know how good that chalice was, but I can see it being fantastic there, right? And then they didn't take the bait on the chalice, which was a shame, so our Sickening Shoal got countered. We never had a graveyard, but we did drive through with hollow 1. So, see you for round 6. Okie dokie, so 6th and final round. This is a winning in for us because we're X in 1, and we're up against Molly Momaro, who is on like a Sulati Tinker list. Today, they've got a strip mine. I've got 2 Bazaars though, so let's play a Bazaar, and then we'll play Grief pitching Poxwalkers or Hogak. I guess Poxwalkers is the pitch, and then we'll see if they let me Grief before they strip mine. If they don't, I'll just activate the Bazaar before seeing, so we'll get a look at their hand. Okay, resolve the first ability, and what have they got for us? Okay, so their hand is exceptionally cracked. So what, they're going to cycle a Lorien and try and walk into an Ancestral, into an Oko, into a One Ring. Oh, I can't cope. What do I need to take from this hand? Is it just Ancestral? Is the One Ring going to do more? They're definitely walking next turn. I can't really take a Lorien, right? Lorien, walk, Ancestral is awful. Maybe I just take Ancestral. There you go, Lorien, walk, and maybe they have a Hogak or Oko. I'm just going to take Ancestral, I don't know. I think it's Ancestral or the One Ring. Now we'll activate Bazaar of Baghdad. And we will discard Stinkweed Imp, Bridge from Below, Cabal Therapy. doesn't matter. I get a bridge token. I therapy you. And now they have to cycle a Lorien, otherwise I just kill them. Yep. They got a tropical island. Now I think I'm just going to take that time walk. Where am I going to take that Oko? Or I could take the One Ring. I think I can overwhelm an Oko. I'm just going to take that walk. Let's take that time walk. I've got a Stinkweed Imp. So let's take that time walk. Just leaving them with Lorien revealed, Oko, the One Ring. And let's aim to have them dead before the One Ring and Oko come down. They've got to strip mine me as well. Otherwise the game just kind of ends. Okay, no, they've just got an Oko right now if they want one. That was a good draw. But now I've got... So you make a food token. But now I've got 2 Bazaars, which obviously they don't know about, but I do. So Stinkweed Imp and a Shell. Imp Shell. I guess Gat can go. We hit our Grave Troll, which is great. We've hit a Narcomoeba, which can hopefully bink a Therapy in a moment. So let's say yes to the Narcomoeba. Draw step will dredge a Troll. Still no Therapy. Main phase. There's a Stinkweed Imp somewhere. Yep, Stinkweed Imp. And Stinkweed Imp. Did I just miss on other therapies? I think so. Brutal. Okay, well. We'll attack Oko. Well, yeah, no, I wasn't expecting to miss on a therapy after dredging a further 10 or so. We didn't hit anything, but we have got infinite Icarids. So let's hope they missed a land drop this turn. So they stand up a food token. Cycle a Lorien, strip mine me. Okay, that'll be fine. They get an Underground Sea. Walk's gone, Lorien's gone. Oh, they've got DT. They've only got the One Ring in hand. What can they DT for here? DT for Lotus? Lotus for One Ring? Yeah, cool. Okay. Cool. And then they draw a card. So we can't therapy them this turn either. We can kill that Oko and put like a really formidable board presence into play. Okay, so Icarids are going to trigger. I've got 26 cards. Let's do Troll and Imp to start with. And 2 more Narcomoebas. There's a therapy there. Do I need to do more? I've got 15 cards. I guess I should do a little bit more. So, just trying to work out how we win this game at this point. Their deck does have 4 One Rings in it, so them chaining that is a concern for staying alive, sort of thing, forever and ever and ever. But I'm going to do a tad more dredging. I think we'll just do a Thug and a Shell, going down to, what's that, 8 cards? That seems fine. Any order. And I've got 4 Narcomoebas in play, so I can never lose, right? That was a joke. I can obviously still lose. They're a vintage deck that's going to draw 3 cards next turn. They have Tinker and they have other combos in their deck, so we can just make the biggest board we can make, sort of thing. What do I want to eat? There's another grief there. And dredge step, I'll dredge thug, going down to 4 cards in deck. And then I've got all my therapies, I've got my Hogak. Let's go to combat and sort out this Oko. So that's gone. They block an Icarid. I didn't attack them, obviously, but then they eat a bridge. They eat 2 bridges. I get infinite tokens. Or 3 bridges. Yeah, so maybe that was a misstep there. But never mind. And then I'm going to put my graveyard away for a moment so I can cast a Hogak easily. And they'll be dead next turn because I'm going to get all the amalgams back into play as well. So powder, powder, hollow one, force, force. Get 2 Poxwalkers as well. I can't therapy them this turn, I can therapy them next turn. It's over to them for their 1 turn. They get to tap their 1 ring and we see where we get to. Maybe that last dredge on the thug was a bit aggressive. I have some triggers. Do I have to stack these? What a disaster. Okay, triggers have been stacked. There was 2 Icarid triggers hiding, that's why it asked me. And now amalgams come into play. So, yeah. Okay, opponent's turn, they're going to take 1 from their 1 ring. They're going to take a draw step, and then they'll draw 2 cards off their 1 ring. Oh, they'll play a Mox Jet first. That's got to be good for them. Draw 2 cards. And this is just the Am I Dead waiting room. One of us certainly is dead. It's them. Good. So to sideboarding. So just looking at their hate, they're quite light on hate. They've got 1 Tabernacle, 1 Pithing Needle, 1 Soul Guide Lantern, and a Portal to tinker for, by the looks of things. Well, that's what they had last time they were out and about. So they are a 4 Wasteland deck, so I want my Revivals. If they're a Needle deck, I guess I want my Vigors as well on the draw. And then they're 4 Sagas and a Tab, so I guess we just sideboard the same way every match, all the time, every day. Griefs. They've got a Walking Ballista and a Haywire Might in their deck, so I don't think we need the removal for a change. Therapies can be trimmed. Poxwalkers can get a cut as well. And that's going to be me, I think. Do I want a Chalice on the draw? Probably, because they are a Yawgmoth Wheel deck. This deck's got a lot going on, it's super sick. Yeah, I think keeping the Chalice is good enough. Let's go down to the game. So yeah, I would look up this player just because their deck is so cool. But for now we need to try and defeat them. So 2 Bazaars and a strip. I'll put back a Hogak, I think. Oh, that was really bad. I need a green card for Vigor. That was awkward. I should have put the therapy back. I just assumed the therapy was closer. Okay, that's brutal. So we're going to just strip mine the Saga to start with. Let's just start there. Simple and easy. You're not doing that today. They have got a piece of hate, so we're going to have to force something out of them. They're going to cycle a Lorien on end step. And they get themselves a basic island. So, island. I wouldn't hate a pass. Yeah, no, nice pass. Ooh, Vigor's sick. So let's play a Bazaar, activate Bazaar. And we get Amalgam, Therapy, Icarid. So we'll give them some food. I should have discarded a Narcomoeba really, because I'm just about to vigor their brains out. So let's go after these two. That was a really fortunate Bazaar activation. Exile a green card from my hand. Come on, Magic Online, keep up. And then, oh, they draw a card. Okay. Well then, I discarded all the right things. Right. Where's my graveyard gone? Where did it just go? Oh, it's over here. Strip mine me, that's fine. So then, Icarid and Amalgam. No, I'll leave that there. Play a Bazaar. Activate said Bazaar. Discard these 3 graveyard cards, and then we'll go next turn. Yeah, I had to hold the Imp in hand so that it didn't get binked by the Soul Guide Lantern. They've got another Strip Mine. Okay, cool. I've got 1 Dredger. But I have got... So I can put like a bunch of power into play. Therapy them. But I have to eat the Imp. I might do that. I don't know. I can wait a turn. I can just dredge an Imp first of all. Play a Wasteland. If I hit a Narcomoeba off this Imp, then I get to Therapy them anyway. No or yes? How much power is it? It's 3 this turn plus an Amalgam. Then I Therapy you. So I'll end the turn with 8 power in play. They'll be at 17. It'll be 3 hits. No, I'm gonna wait a turn and dredge. I'm not sure about that line. I hit a Narcomoeba though, so it was perfect. So Amalgam's going to trigger. We're going to play a Therapy, and I've got no idea what I'm going to name, actually. What can I name here? Tabernacle at Pendule Vale, I can't name. Soul Guide Lantern's gone. Yorgonsword, let's just name Ancestral, I think. I've got no idea. No, because Ancestral would be gone by now. Maybe it's just the One Ring, because that card's like the scary card. Okay, they've got Force of Will pitching, Force of Will. We'll play a Tabernacle, answer, and pass the turn. I get my Amalgam, and I've got 10 power in play instead, because I got lucky and hit my Narcomoeba. So, we did hit a Thug as well. Let's pass the turn to them. Sensei's Divining Top is absolutely fine by me. They've got a waterlogged grove. Cool. A waterlogged grove. I wasn't expecting that, but opponent can have what opponent wants to have. So they've got 2 cards in hand. They've had a look for their Sensei's Top. We're not cracking this Wasteland for anything ever. I can Icarid to eat the Thug. But they're already dead next turn, right? Because I do 10 then 10. So I guess I should just Thug them. Nope. Thug. And then attack. And say a prayer that we don't die. Okay. Yeah, I haven't got enough Icarids in my graveyard to consider zapping away the Wasteland. They tap top, so they like both their cards. They've got a Saga. Okay. Saga gets Soul Ring. Okay. Does that mean we're getting tinkered? They get the One Ring. Okay. Cool. So that's going to keep them going for a moment. They're already dead on board. I don't know. I'm just going to dredge a Thug, right? I don't know what else I'm really digging for. I've already used my strip mine. Was that this game? No, that was last game. So I could try and draw my strip mine. Or I can just try and big my graveyard up. I think that's better. So Thug. There's a therapy, but I can't therapy them. How many Icarids I've got? I've got 1 Icarid. So they're going to draw 2 cards. They're going to make a token. Icarid comes in. Icarid gets blocked and they still die. So I don't need to do anything just yet. I will wait. Yeah, no. They're under the One Ring protections. This is, in fact, better. I could have picked up an Icarid at some point just to get these amalgams into play, but I don't know how long I've had them, to be honest with you. So, as a Saga, takes up again. Opponent's up against it in terms of life points. They activate the One Ring. They're going to need a Walk or a Fog. I don't know what they can have. Tinker for Portal doesn't do anything in this box. I just get tokens. We've got another One Ring, another One Ring. Gross. Okay, so I'm going to have to waste their... I am going to have to waste their Saga, aren't I? Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale? I guess not. And then they replay the top. And they pass the turn to me. So do I want to go for the Saga or do I want to go for the tab? I guess I've got to go for the tab, otherwise my whole board state disappears. And then do I want to take a draw step or do I want to just dredge? I can't dredge on this. This is Icarid nonsense. I still can't dredge though. No, I'm good. So that's just the draw step. They are under the One Ring again. So let's pass the turn. And they go down to 3. Their mana starts to hurt them. But obviously they're playing combos because they've got in their deck, they've got Azure and Orb, a Crucible of Worlds, and 2 fast bonds. So they've got like an infinite life, infinite mana engine there as well. So it's not over just yet. And then they've got a Walking Ballista to finish off with. That's a Manifold Key. Also they've just got Time Vault as well. Yeah, they've got Manifold Key and Time Vault. Sick. They didn't make any Saga tokens, so maybe I'm just dead, and that's just the way it is. They need to tinker for Time Vault though, because the One Ring is going to get them. That's a Mana Crypt that can also get them. So it looks like a tinker. Smells like a tinker. It is a tinker. So tinker with 1 card in hand. The One Ring in play, that's a Time Vault. That's an Urza's Saga as their last card. So next turn they have to hit exactly Black Source Yawgmoth's Will. Right, because they've got infinite turns and they're dead next turn on their second one. They look with top. So they need like Black Source Yawg Will to cast the Tinker again. And they can never tap the Waterlord Grove. Would you like to skip a turn? No, okay. So they go to 1. They draw. Saga ticks up. They need to activate the One Ring and then activate Sensei's top. And then come up with something. But I think it's just Black Source Yawgmoth will cast Tinker. And at that point I would be dead. But okay, so more mana. Cool deck, cool games as well. So just tap the top. Did they even look? The no look top. The One Ring. Okay, and that kills the other One Ring. So that's how they get out of that. Now they take another turn. Now how much do I care about the clock? So they make a 5/5. I've got a Death Toucher. I can never cast any spells. So over to them. And they have successfully stabilised and won the game at 1 life, right? I've not got anything going for me at the moment. Is there any way I can deal a point of damage? I don't think so. And they can just make it... They can't make it unblockable, but we are dead. Okay, right. Game 3 time. So, to sideboarding. So I want my Griefs back in on the play. I like the Forces. So what happens if and I like the Noxious and the Vigors. So all the interactions got to be in. 1 Thug I've been cutting so far. Maybe it's just a case I have to now just drop these Poxwalkers and say thanks for your service, and maybe it's just one of the therapies as well as the last cut, just so I'm just maximum interactions all the time. I'm kind of low on dredges, but I'm just on Icarids, Amalgams, Hollow Ones. Maybe that's my issue, maybe I'm too controlling. No, I think I like it. I think I like it. So that's not 7 cards that we can keep. Down to 6. Down to 5. Two Bazaars, Hollow One, Grief. Cool. Bridge. I've got to put 2 cards back. So what am I putting back? So I can pitch Amalgam, play Grief, activate Bazaar. That's all my cards, isn't it? I think it's got to be Strip Mine Bazaar. Is that right? Can that ever be right? Pitch Grief, activate, discard 2, make a token, make a Hollow One. Pass. Hope for a Dredger. I think that's as good as it's getting for us here. So, play Bazaar. Cast Grief, pitch Amalgam, I said, because I want this token. I want maximum power as soon as possible. They've got a Force of Will. Pitching a Mystical Tutor. So let's activate and pretend we could have something. We cannot. So any order there. That happens. They've got 5 cards, I've got no cards, I've got a Hollow One. And then it's over to them. Our graveyard's pretty anemic, so we need to hit something on our upkeep. That's an Urza's Saga. Please don't be a Needle. Soul Red Lantern. Soul Red Lantern's okay, I think. I will flip still. No reason not to. Force of Will, Shambling Shell. Let's dredge a Shambling Shell, because that can be a Vigor later. Well, there was a Vigor on top of my deck, that's awkward. Let's attack for 4. They've got 4 cards. Hopefully none of them are Soul Rings or Moxons or what have you. Tropical Island, Mox Pearl, Time Walk. That's fucked up. Okay, Saga goes off. They make a token, and they'll get themselves a Pithing Needle, I assume. Opponent's in the tank about it at least. So we draw a Vigor. We've got 3 left. They just get a Jet and an Island. So 2 cards for the opponent. Guess I'll just Raw Dog the Thug. Oh no, 3 hollow ones have gone. I powdered one, didn't I? No, I powdered something else. Then they'll get everything. So let's Dredge a Thug. Ichorid, and another Vigor. It's just always Vigors all the time. So activating with no dredges, that's another Vigor. Any order. So I will attack, I think. They trade. They've got 2 cards. I've got 35 cards in deck. Oh, they've got a fucking Vampiric. Wow. Yeah, they just had a bit too much for us this match. So Tinker. Tinker gets House. They probe me. They learn that they need to activate the Soul Red Lantern now. Unless they've got permission already, of course. So that Ruby's from hand. And they exile my graveyard. And they pass the turn. So let's have a look and see what we can do, shall? Perfect. So now we'll go to their turn and try and rebuild and try and get this house out of here. We've been through one of their forces already. So let's go after their black source because they do have black spells in their deck. Hull Breacher. Sure, I'll activate Bazaar of Baghdad in response. Negation Narc, that's annoying. Hull Breacher's in. Vigor gets through. Okay. I don't know who's ahead. They're going to attack us a bunch. Oh no, that's got Summoning Sickness, so that's not going to attack, is it? So Shambling Shell is great. We'll wait until their end step and we'll give them some treasures in their end step. They've used their Tinker, they've used their Walk, they've used their Vamp. I've got a Dredger. They're going to attack us. The big issue we've got, right, is that they're going to at some point get to 1 rings and stuff like that. That's going to be really hard and we're going to have to rebuild before then. So we'll give them 2 treasures. Discard a Shambling Shell. Now we never give them any more treasures anyway. Shambling Shell, Stinkweed Imp, hit a Narc Amoeba. Any order. Narc comes in. And it'll be a Stinkweed Imp again. I really want a Therapy. I think I took them all out, didn't I? Or maybe a bunch of them. Okay, so it's over to the opponent. I've got Ichorids now. I've got an Ichorid. Lure Revealed Cycles gets an Underground Sea. Underground Sea comes in. I don't need to block. Like a Time Twister would end this game quite nicely. This looks like a 1 ring. Yep. The chain commences. They're on 9 though. Pithing Needle my Bazaar. That's okay. I think I can come off of the Bazaar. Well, not off the Bazaar, but you know. So no point in Ichoriding because they're under the ring. Actually, there was a point in Ichoriding. But so Narc Amoeba, Bridge, Thug. Okay, yeah. I can't get him for 1. So if they attack next turn, then I'll get 2 tokens. 2 bridge tokens. We need them to not pull Vault Key out of these next few turns. They activate the One Ring, draw 2 cards, they're on 5 cards in hand, they've got a Saga. There's a needle behind my graveyard saying, they're just chaining them all the time. Oh no, this could be Lorien. Okay, Lorien's fine. Well, fine is maybe not true, but... Soaring. Sensei's top. This is close. I don't know where we're at, who's ahead, who's behind. They're coming in. I'm going to double block the Hole Breacher, because I think I win. Any order on the Narcs? Yeah, I think this kills them. Opponents, yeah, that attack I think kills them, because I get 2 bridge tokens and a Nicarid, attack them for 7, they die to the One Ring. So they need something else this turn, and they've tapped all their lands. That could have been a complete gift. Dredge a Thug anyway. Get another Narcomoeba. And another Icarid comes into the yard. So let's go for the attack. You go to 1. They didn't play a One Ring last turn, did they? No. And then Icarid dies and I get another token. Oh, holy hell, that was very fortunate for us. Very lucky. Unless, I don't know if they've got like instant speed life gain, they haven't in their previous list that I've seen, but that attack's going to be haunting for a while, I guess, but yeah, wow, cool. And that's a winning in, I do believe. Let's go back to the details just to see. Yeah, 5 and 1, so C for top 8. Okay, so quarterfinals time. We're up against Boy, who is most recently seen on a Turbo Volt key list. We've got a nice hand here, and we can see what we want to do. We are on the draw, unfortunately. Lost the die roll there. But let's see what Boy comes with. See if they've got a Saga. Or not Saga, what's his name? The kitten thing, Lurrus. And then their other listings were from last year, so I don't think they've played much this year. But we'll see. Into their main phase, and they've got a workshop. Oh fuck, that's not good for me. Mana Vault, no Lurrus, so is it just dual shops? Manifold Key, and a pass of the turn. Okay. Let's play a Bazaar, and let's Grief Pitching Shambling Shell first of all. That's where we're going to start. Take a look at what you're working with. PO, PO. They're not going to be there. So now we'll activate this. We don't find a bridge, but that's fine. So let's just do Dredger, Dredger, Powder. So that's cool. And now let's Grief Pitching an Amalgam. Take your PO. So opponents on top decks. Off to you. Let's see what you can top deck, shall we? So we know about an Otawara. They're paying mana. So the top card of their deck is Never Not a Coveted Jewel. Perfect. So if we get another turn, we'll need to therapy their brains out, I guess, and pray that the top card is once again not a coveted jewel. So Monolith is one of the cards. There's a Saga, another one of the cards. Just show me the Phyrexian Metamorph, why don't you? A Sapphire, okay. Right. That went about as badly as it could, really. I'm really struggling to come up with ways that could have gone worse. I'm doing my best though to think of it. I guess it was all that last card, right? If that last card is another PO or a Metamorph, that would have been annoying. But they're now out of cards. They do have a Saga on the go. We've got a Narcomoeba, so get wrecked, opponent. What did we do? Just a Narcomoeba. And then dredge another Stinkweed Imp. And another Narcomoeba. And this time a Therapy as well. And I've got one Bridge and a Poxwalkers. So I can't quite get into Hogak this turn, can I? I don't have an Amalgam. So I can Therapy myself, I can Therapy them. Bridge from below. Only one. But then it does get my Poxwalkers untapped, so I guess I'll just Therapy myself. Get my Poxwalkers and my Bridge token. Name Stinkweed Imp. And pray that the top card of their deck is just a Mishra's Workshop. Okay. Can we just draw a Workshop? Otawara on... What do they bounce? What am I missing? Oh, they bounced the Jewel, obviously. Wow, yeah. No, mad. Okay. That took me a long time to work out. So opponent's going to get to Jewel again. That was sick. I actually enjoyed that play from them. I hadn't seen it at all. I don't think I've seen that interaction before. Otawara my Jewel. You lose. Pretty dope. So they did draw a Workshop though, so I called that bit. So Workshop. Draw 3. Can it be 3 more Workshops? Seems unlikely. Ancestral. Certainly not what I asked for. And things only get harder post-board. So they've got a Tinker. Have you got a good Tinker threat, or is it just another Jewel? Not that that's not a good Tinker threat. Oh, they've got the Time Vault. Duh, right. Cool. Next game. We need Vigors. Does that mean I need a Noxious? I can drop a Therapy. I'm on the play, so I want the grief, so I want everything. I want it all. So, what are the cuts? Maybe a Poxwalkers. I think this card's great, but I'm just trying to... I'm at this point trying to work out how much I need it, sort of thing. When can I take it out? When can I bring it in? Blah, blah, blah. I don't want to drop an Icarid. Poxwalkers is actually kind of dope against Wormcoil Engine. I've already cut a Therapy though. Let's just trim across the board. I'll trim a Bridge and I'll trim an Icarid. So trim across the board. I've got all my griefs, got all my forces, got all my vigors. Misstep is not a cut because they do have Needle and they do have some ones. I don't think I want the Waste. I don't think they play Tabernacle. They're just so quick that they don't need it. So, never mind. Right. Let's see what we've got. Let's see if Double Grief can win this time. I'll keep this hand. So I'm going to Grief Pitching Amalgam and then activate, unless they have a Leyline in play randomly. But I don't think they play Leyline, do they? In before Leyline. Opponent's choosing whether to keep or not. they keep on 6. So let's grief pitching Amalgam. No. Let's play Bazaar of Baghdad. And then grief pitching Amalgam. They're on 6 cards. And let's see how hard it is to look at. So Emerald, Ancient Tomb, Monolith, Monolith, Lotus, One Ring. So I'll just take the One Ring then. Take the One Ring and let them top deck out of it again. So, do I want this grief? I don't think so. All of their objects are going to be in play next turn, aren't they? Emerald, Monolith, Monolith, Ancient Tomb, Lotus. So yeah, so all of their objects come into play next turn. They can always cast all of their spells. So it's probably better just to feed this grief to my Icarid. Yeah, because they're playing whatever they play, so that's fine. I'm happy with that as a decision. Grief dies, I cast a hollow one. Let's see what they can draw. Emerald. I do hate this game. I don't know if any of you know this, but I don't actually enjoy playing it. You know, it's a joke. Cool. So as is, you cannot Thoughtseize the top of the deck. That's a Lotus, and then they'll just play out everything else. 1 Grim, maybe 2. Just the 1 for now. Okay. So I'm going to eat a Grief. I'm going to dredge a Stinkweed Imp. I'm going to get a Narcomoeba. And I got another Icarid as well, so that's cool. So over to the opponent, who's got a Grim Monolith in hand. I've got 2 black creatures in my graveyard, which means they're dead on board. So they need to have a runner this game. Grim Monolith. Grim Monolith, cool, we win. So going into game 3, Poxwalkers can go, Grief can go. I get a draw step, and I'll attack for 11. So game 3 on the draw is tough. Is there anything we want to do differently? I don't think so. I think there's an argument for an additional Thug over a Therapy. Maybe that's true actually. Maybe I can drop a Therapy, play an Icarid. So I've got more threats. Maybe. Because I still think Grease playable on the play on the draw if they've got like a naff hand. I just need to interact with them, right? Like if they've got a hand which is like Ancient Tomb, Monolith, Soul Ring or whatever, Soul Ring, Monolith, Ancient Tomb, and then the next turn they're playing their duel, I can grief them. Yeah, I think this is what I'm going to submit. Just have more threats. Actually, no, I kind of want that Thug back in. Let's see if it lets me. Yes. Okay, so this is our game 3 hand. We've kept 7 again, which is great. But obviously, it's very, very interaction light. No forces for now. So Boy's got the opportunity to win on turn 1, which their deck can do. I don't think easily, but it's not uncommon. Or if they've got early hate like a Needle or something, we're going to be in a world of hurt. So I don't think you can ever mulligan double hollow on Grief though. I think you just gotta, they've kept 7, so I think you just gotta cross your fingers and pray. So Mishra's Workshop. Go. Okay. Let's play Bazaar. Let's activate that. So Therapy is gonna go because I'm not against throwing hollow one at them. So Therapy, Troll and Imp is what's going to go. Grief is going to pitch a Shambling Shell or a Hogak. I guess a Shambling Shell. Or maybe I want to cast my hollow ones first. So that gets through. That gets through. Let's pitch the shell. I've got 2 dredges in the yard. Let's have a look at what you're working with. Coveted Jewel, One Ring, Mishra's Workshop, Metamorph. So yeah, so we'll take the Jewel, and then we'll Therapy your One Ring. And now our opponent's got Time Walk, Workshop, Seagate, Seagate. The One Ring's gone, the One Ring's gone. So this is our hand, right? Time Walk, Metamorph, Workshop, Seagate. So let's see what's on top of their deck for the 3rd game in a row. It's their turn 2. Just pay 2 life and copy my hollow one. Defense Grid. Okay. Defense Grid is fine. I am all out of spells on your turn anyway. Now you play a Workshop and copy my hollow one, or are you playing a tap land? You're playing a tap land. Cool. Okay, so Walk, Workshop, Metamorph. And we've got our best 2 dredges. We've got a Bazaar. We get to use it. We've got a hollow one. So Grave Troll, Imp. Is there anything that I can bring back here? No. So let's discard these cards that matter in the graveyard. Actually, I should have held the Hogak. That was really bad. Never mind. And then we'll discard a Grave Troll again. And miss on all the cards ever. There's not even an Icarid in there. So let's get him for 4. So no Icarids. We've got to fade another turn. Opponent's at 16. They've got an Ancient Tomb, so they're going to Time Walk into... Did you top deck? No. Yeah, so you're going to walk to draw another card. Sweaty stuff, really. Sweaty, sweaty stuff. And at some point they might play this Metamorph as a copy of my hollow one to reduce the damage. That's coming in at them. So they've got a Metamorph. They've got a hollow one. Nice. And they've got a Workshop and a Manifold Key. So that's them hellbent. All the mana, all the objects. We're going to do some dredging. I've got a Stinkweed Imp here. And I've got a Stinkweed Imp here. There's a Narcomoeba, which will trigger an Amalgam. I found 2 Icarids. No therapies, so we'll be dredging this Troll. I know I took a few therapies out. I don't know if I took all of them out. Did I drop all of them? Two of them, okay. So Golgari Grave Troll into Hogak. Okay, no bridges either. So we're struggling to put power on the board at the moment. Actually, I've got 4 amalgams coming into play, so that was a lie. But I'll just 3 them out, yeah. Yeah, all the amalgams will be in play by the end of next turn. They need to draw something this turn or next turn. That was an Ancient Tomb for the turn. I get an Amalgam. And I've got Ichorids, so I win. So I'm going to get rid of my graveyard for a moment. Ichorid resolves, give me a grief. Ichorid resolves, give me a grief. And then they've got no cards in hand. There's no way this can go wrong, I just need to not click through. So let's just dredge ourselves a Stinkweed Imp. And attack with all the creatures. Phew! I hate Duel. It's a really sketchy matchup for Dredge, but that's a really sick win. So we are now off to the semis. So I'll see you there. Okay, semi-finals time. We're up against Beekeeper, who has just knocked Dredge out of the quarterfinals in the hands of the 4-1-6 rounding table. But we've got a pretty cracking hand here. They are on a Beseech, I believe. So Force of Will, pretty high priority. Griefing them now is going to be pretty high priority. And I think it's going to be a grief pitching, I reckon, Shambling Shell, because I probably want to get this therapy going so that if my grief resolves, then I'll have a bridge token, and then I'll get to look at, like, bink their hand again if I need to. Depends on what they've got and how they've started off, sort of thing. But yeah, so it's going to be grief pitching Shell. If that gets through, we'll activate the Bazaar. Well, we can activate the Bazaar anyway, can't we? But yeah, I think that's going to be the play. So we're just waiting for Beekeeper to arrive. Okay, so we have an opponent. Let's play a Bazaar. Let's play a Grief, and we can always go and look for a blue card here if they've got a Force of Will. So Bazaar into Grief. Opponent mulligan to 6. And they're casting a Force of Will, going down to 4 cards, pitching a Mystical Tutor. So let's activate our Bazaar in response, and we hit a Narcomoeba. So that's going to be nice. So don't care about the order. Yeah, I'm never playing Spinning Darkness again in my life. It's Force of Will, your Force of Will. And take all of the cards out of your hand. So Grief resolves. Dark Ritual, Ancestral, Time Walk. So we're certainly taking Ancestral. And do we want to leave them with a Ritual or a Walk? I guess we can take the Ritual as well with our token. So let's get rid of Ancestral. I'm going to get a Zombie token, and I'm going to Therapy you. You, please, yeah. And then get rid of their Dark Ritual as well. So opponent has got Underground Sea, Time Walk. And that's their opening hand. So play a Sea. Comes back to me. We can activate, and we've got Stinkweed Imp to go with. So Imp, Shell, discard, discard, discard. And then back to the opponent. Oh no, not back to the opponent. Let me get my graveyard out for you. There we go. Not back to the opponent, because I do actually in fact get a draw step. Narcomoeba's an incredible draw there. No bridges, but we can still just take their walk, I think, can't we? Oh, I've got one bridge. Yeah, I'm still going to take their walk. May as well. Just reduce all of the outs all of the time. So Time Walk. And this might give us information about what else is in their hand now as well. And it's another Dark Ritual. Okay. We can't do anything else. So let's pass the turn. We get an Amalgam. Next turn I've got 2 Ichorids. I've got a Grave Troll. Feel good. Feel good about this spot. Okay, opponent passes back to us. We're going to activate our Bazaar. Dredge a Troll, Dredge a Stinkweed Imp. We've hit another Therapy, 2 more Narcomoebas. We get 2 Icarids in, 2 Narcomoebas in. We know they've got a Dark Ritual, so that's going to be the name on this Therapy. I will eat a Grief, please. I'll eat a Grief. And then I'll dredge a Golgari Grave Troll. So let's combat them. Bink, 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 bink. So get him for 11, and then hit him with a Therapy off of an Icarid, and then we'll cast a Hogak. So I've got 2 Therapies actually, so that's quite cool. So Therapy off Icarid. I've got Poxwalkers as well. Tasty, tasty, tasty. So Dark Ritual, right, was the name. What's your other card? Black Lotus. Okay. Well, I'll be having that as well. I fucked this up actually because I forgot there's a Poxwalkers behind here. So I should have sacked the Poxwalkers. Opponents had enough. Let's go to game 2. Game 2 against Beseech. We're going to want all of this nonsense here. And then there's a chance, well, we do want the Wastelands as well because they're a Saga deck. So what don't we want? I think we just want to do what we've done before. We want to trim a Therapy. We want to trim an Icarid. Same as like, similar to like against Duel, where we're just going to trim a little bit off of everything, I think. I'm not against pitching one of these Revivals as well. Did I drop all the Poxwalkers against Duel? I might have. Yeah. Then on less Icarids than I'm comfortable with. I felt like I was like begging for... I don't know, the Therapy count I'm struggling with. I feel like I've been begging for Therapies all the time. But then also really annoyed when I have Therapies in my hand, sort of thing. So this hand doesn't do anything, so we will go down to 6. This hand does something resembling everything. So we'll keep this, we'll bottom a Powder, and then Beekeeper doesn't seem to have a Leyline of the Void, which is exciting, but they are a combo deck again. So Underground Sea, and then I think they did keep 7 cards in hand. Their last hand was pretty messed up, wasn't it, with Ancestral, Time Walk, Lotus, not Lotus, but Ritual. They've got the Ancestral again, turn 1 Ancestral once again. So that must be nice. This time they're on the play, so they actually have it. Probe me to find out the good news. I've got a Bazaar of Baghdad. They now know they're getting griefed. They now know that they need... no more plays. So they get to discard to hand size. Intriguing. So, depending on what they draw, depending on what we draw, we might want to consider activating the Bazaar before we play the Grief. We draw a thing. Yeah, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to play the Bazaar. I'm going to activate this before I play the Grief. So I did find a Dredger. I didn't find a blue card for... I didn't find a blue card for... Or I didn't find a Force of Will. Sorry, I'm just thinking. So Powder can definitely go. Shell can definitely stay. Which means it's... Yeah, Powder, Imp, right? Yeah, Powder, Powder, Imp. That was fine. And now... Grief pitching Amalgam. This might get forced, and that's fine. If it eats a force, it eats a force. I was thinking about leading on Hollow 1. Maybe that's better, actually. Leading on Hollow 1. And I've held this Shambling Shell for a reason I thought of a moment ago that I now can't remember. So force, pitching, force. Let's play a hollow one. I regret this sequencing. I wish I'd done it the other way around. But they knew about the grief. They knew I was griefing them, so they would have been able to let the hollow one resolve anyway. Because there's a good chance there that like I see their combo hand and I don't take a force of will, you know. Although actually, I need to play around them having artifacts and enchantments. So Grafdigger's Cage comes in. Do I just punt the Vigor away? I guess so. I'll Vigor that. Stay done. I found a green card. They pitched 2 forces a moment ago, so they're either low on blue or they've got more permission. This is our graveyard for what it's worth. Cage goes away. Let's activate on upkeep. Dredge Stinkweed Imp. Dredge a Shambling Shell. Discard some cards. I hate Spinning Darkness. Dredge a Stinkweed Imp. Hit a Narcomoeba. We've got 1 therapy so far, but that's going to be a number of prized amalgams. So let's attack for 4. And then I presume the therapy name in the dark against this deck is probably just Dark Ritual. Therapy Yi. Dark Ritual. He's got one of them, a Vamp and a Top. Okay. So the Vamp's annoying. I get 2 amalgams. Do they have a Tabernacle in their deck? Because Tabernacle means I have to go and find my Icarids, and it slows me down a lot. At the moment they're just dead in 2. So what else did they have? Top, Vamp, Misty. Like, Needle doesn't get you out of it. Soul Guide Lantern doesn't get you out of it. Grafdigger's Cage is a bit late, so it needs to be exactly tab. Leyline also doesn't help. So, do you want to vamp for like a Tinker? No, you can't. If you vamp, what if you vamp for Tinker? You'd need to have something good. They've come up with something. I don't know. I obviously don't play their deck, but they've definitely got another untapped step after this one. Is the joke, right? Because they're going to 1. Oh, so you can't vamp for Tinker because of Misty. Let's see if they've got a Tabernacle. I think that's the main thing that buys them time here. Unless there's a kill that I can't work out. So that's a Sensei's Top. They're going to have a look with Top. Saga wouldn't help. And they've got a Tabernacle in their deck. Okay, so we've got to go and find everything. Always yield to my amalgam triggers. I actually do not care of the order here, right? Right, so Icarids are needed. So Stinkweed Imp, Golgari Thug. We know their last card is a Misty Rainforest. I'll make a Narcomoeba anyway just because it can be useful to have some bodies. I've got so much clicking to do now though. Dredge a Stinkweed Imp. And Stinkweed Imp milled 2 Icarids. So I know their hand. Yeah, let's just ship the turn. Get some amalgams into play which will die later. And hope that they're not too, now they're dead in 2 again, right? Oh, they've got a top activation to Mana Crypt, Misty. What did they find? They find their Tinker anyway. Tinker. What do you tinker for? Sphinx of the Steel Wind. I don't have outs to that, do I? So yeah, Tinker was good, but Tinker was good in a different way. Do I have outs to Sphinx of the Steel Wind? I don't think so. Right, cool. Let's go to the next game, save me clicking through this. Because I can get to 4 Icarids, right? Or maybe I'm only on 3 Icarids anyway. But however many Icarids I get to, I'm on 3 Icarids. Then I attack them for 3. They gain 6, they take 6. So I'm locked out. Cool. Right. This time we're on the play though. So, does that change anything about what we want? I don't think so. I think we're still quite happy with where we're at. It's just a case of we need to not have them have Tinker in the top 3 cards of their deck when they activate top after vamping for a Tabernacle. Yeah, I think if we just don't let that happen again, that's fine. Yeah, I think I like where the deck is. The Poxwalkers have all gone. I don't like that bit, but I think that's fine. The Revivals I think are very questionable, but we need them for green count. Bizarre Grief, Icarid, Chalice is potentially busted right here. So if I pitch Icarid, that put me down to 2 Icarids. So I think I want to activate first. Opponent may well have ley lines in their sideboard, but that's the same as Needles, right? Like, not the same, but you know what I mean. In terms of graveyard hate. Let's hope they mulligan to 2 and never see a ley line. That's what I'm praying for at the moment. Okay, opponent kept 7 hands. No, they kept 7 cards and didn't play a ley line. So let's activate our Bazaar first because I want to see other black cards. Not like that. So Shell, Powder. I think Icarid's better than Amalgam. Let's mess up our sequencing this time and let's cast a hollow one first. See if that elicits a Force of Will, because last time I led on Grief, it doesn't. So let's Grief them then anyway. No Force of Will this time either. So Lurrus revealed, Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual. Right, fuck me, let me work this. I'm pretty sure I just take the Ancestral anyway. But then I'm going to resolve a Chalice. Yeah, I'm just going to take Ancestral, resolve a Chalice. And cross our fingers and hope that Dredge 3 is good. So their Petal's dead, which means their next turn they've got Dark Ritual or Cycle Lorien. So obviously they're going to build into this game, but we just need to be able to try and kill them before they get there. They can't get anything. They can't get any zeros into play, which makes their Beseeches harder. But they can always draw Saga. So this is a Shambling Shell and a Shambling Shell. And let's discard some cards. I've got a Narcomoeba as well. My Icarid's going to eat my Grief. Stinkweedemp's going to dredge a bunch as well. No bridges, but let's attack. For 7. And then what do we want to take out of this hand? Is it the Ritual? Is it the Loriens? Is it the Walk? I guess I want to take the Walk. Because that's just going to be the thing that slows them down a bit more again. So let's cast this. They'll cycle a Lorien in response. Oh, they didn't cycle a Lorien in response. Do I just name Lorien then? I don't know, because like if I name Lorien and no, they must have drawn a land, otherwise you cycle in response there. You must have drawn a land. I'm not buying it. I'm just going to take Time Walk. If they haven't drawn a land, then that's insane, but they haven't drawn a land. Wild. You just lose, right, if I take your Loriens and you miss? I don't know. I think they're behind anyway, but still. So they cycle a Lorien. They get an Underground Sea. So they can Beseech with no bargain this turn if they draw that sort of thing. But Chalice doing the Lord's work once again. So we'll dredge some imps. Imp, imp. All the imps. One of them's wrong. And then I guess I'll eat a shell. And then dredge a stinkweed imp. Pink. So now we'll attack for more. We found another Icarid. This time we'll just take that Dark Ritual out of their hand. Cabal Therapy U. Cracking my Icarid. I get 2 bridge tokens. They're paying costs. Cycles Alorian. I'm just going to name Dark Ritual. These therapies have done work this matchup, haven't they? So they've got another Underground Sea. Let's get your Dark Ritual out of here. They've got Dark Ritual Petal, UC. House. Amalgam comes in. Opponent's turn. Tabernacle doesn't do it. Underground Sea. Soul Ring. Concession into the finals. See you there. Okie dokie then. Finals time. We're up against Wessel, who we're pretty sure is on bug. We've won a die roll though, which is kind of sick for those summoning sick Deathrite Shamans over there. So let's take a mulligan. And let's take a mulligan. So, and when they won the challenge the other week, they weren't on like a Lurrus based list. They were just on like raw dogging, Leovolds and stuff like that. So I'm going to bottom of Poxwalkers. Sad to see it go, but I think the bridges are better for the therapy lines. We'll hold these forces. We've got the best dredger. It's just a Stinkweed Imp Hollow one, I guess, is what we're looking for. Not quite. But what do I discard? Icarid Therapy. Because if I'm just getting wasted, right? I'm obviously discarding the Troll. What's better over the course of a game against Bug? I guess it's going to be my bridge from below. But my bridge is going to die. I'm going to discard the bridge. Any order, I do not mind. So, good start. We've got the forces. If we do get to untap with this Bazaar, that will be awesome. But I'm expecting to just get Wastelanded on turn 1. There we are. So yeah, Wasteland comes in. And we'll dredge our Grave Troll. Yeah, I'm not sure about the... I think the bridge has got to be great, right? Because then I'm going to start doing like Icarid nonsense and it's going to be really fun. So that's another bridge, an Icarid, a Thug and a Imp is what's relevant there. We've got our Force of Will, which means our Icarid's going to eat a Thug next turn. It's going to get in for some damage and then it's going to make 2 tokens. And that's going to apply a fair amount of pressure to Wessel over there. Let's see if they've got a Deathrite Shaman, because I will fight that when we're on slow dredges. Brainstorm, I don't think I'll fight. When I'm not going down on card equity, I think I can hold my Force of Will. Or maybe I'm just supposed to fight this and try and tempo them into the ground. I don't know. I think I'd rather fight the cards I care about, you know? And yeah, and I'm absolutely eating this Thug next turn. So they've made their land drop. They've not got any Moxen. So it's been a really, really odd start for a Bug deck, really. To have less than 4 pieces of power in their opening hand. So Icarid's going to eat a Thug. Draw step, we're going to dredge our imp. We're going to look for other dredgers and hope that they're there. There's a Narcomoeba, an Ichorid, an Amalgam, and a Therapy. So that Therapy is going to be pretty cool. I get an Amalgam. I'm out of dredgers, which is not ideal, obviously. But we've got creatures. Let's attack with the Ichorid. And then Therapy away the Ichorid. Although I want to Therapy away the Narc. I want to Therapy away the Narc, I think, because then I'm going to have 8 power. Plus the Amalgam. Because I'm going to get more triggers off my Ichorid. That's 11, then that's going to be 14 next turn, because I'll eat an Ichorid. On Ichorid. So, what's the name here? Force of Will. If it gets through. I think so. I think I like Force as a name. Bit of, maybe I'm just supposed to name Deathrite. Or Tarmogoyf would be annoying. What's bad for us here? Endurance obviously doesn't exist. Leovold, Endurance, Bowmasters. Orcish Bowmasters would be a pain in the dick, I guess. Let's just name Force of Will. Because then my Force of Wills will work. They've got Force of Will, Force Negation, Probe, Misstep, Oko, Dig. Right. So they're just dead. I think. I do decree. Yeah, this looks like a really hard spot to come back from, right? I've got 8 power, 11 power. Next turn I'll Ichorid eating an Ichorid. And attack you for 14. You'll be at 3, facing 6 zombies. They're going to probe me, so I'll show them. Because this Force of Will went, this probe's gone. And they've conceded. So let's pause and look up their sideboard. Okay, so the Wessel sideboard was 1 tab, 2 trophies, 4 leyline. Cool. Now we're on... Yes, it's the same deck as we played round 1. We'll need a bunch of cards. Don't need Chalice. Can trim a Therapy. Can trim a Thug. Can trim a Poxwalkers. Maybe the way... I know, but against them, do I want the Griefs? Do I care about the Griefs? Probably not on the draw. I think Grief can go on the draw. And then I need 2 more cuts. As discussed throughout the day. Well, maybe the negations. So they don't really have non-creature spells that matter, right? Leyline's uncounterable. My Bazaars are dead. How does that look? I can Therapy my way through if I need to. I get to keep my Force of Wills for... what? They've got Leyline of the Void and Deathrite Shaman. I'm bringing in Sickening Shoals for Deathrite Shaman. They've got Assassin's Trophy. Because there's no Needle. No Soul Guide. 1 Loam. Oh, what a cool deck. I hate Bug though, but... how do you get me to not like your deck but also really like your deck is you put a Life from the Loam in there. I think this sideboarding configuration looks good, right? We've got a little bit of protection. I know we're low on blue, dropping the negations. We've got the Vigors for their ley lines. We've got the Sickening Shoals for their Deathrites. We've got Bazaar of Baghdad, so it probably can't go wrong. And we won the die roll in game 1, and that's going to be a pretty big game as well. Did I bring in my Wastelands? Because I've got Tabernacle. Yes, good. Cool. So what does this do? We'll powder this one away. There's 1 Shogun. Didn't bring in the Spinning Darkness, I don't think, because Deathrite Shaman is in fact black. It didn't really come up today, did it, the Spinning Darkness? I thought it looked cool. I think we boarded it in against Mono White and just top decked them with Containment Priest instead. But either one would have probably worked to that spot, I can't remember it. So, easy powder to start with. 2 Icarids going is a shame. We've got a Force of Will, Bridge, Amalgam, Thug and Hollow Ones. This is a good hand. We're in Wessel's upkeep, which means Wessel doesn't have a Leyline of the Void. Which I can only imagine favours us. So Verdant Catacombs, Mox Jet, this is more like it. Show me the Sapphire. No Sapphire, but the Deathrite Shaman with a funky border. So we'll force that, see if it gets through. They're fetching. So it looks like they've got like a Spell Pierce or something. Yep. So I can't pay. You've got a Deathrite Shaman. 3 cards in hand. Over the other side of the table. We've got another bridge. So let's activate Bazaar. Discard Thug. How do we do this? I do not know. So they've got 3 cards in hand. We could discard Thug, Shell, Bridge. I think I like that. I think Thug, Shell, Bridge is good. Any order on that bit. And then I'm just going to Sickening Shoal at source. I'm not going to Sickening Shoal. I'm going to cast a Hollow one just in case Wessel fancies forcing it. Nope. And I think I pitched the Bridge rather than the Amalgam. Yeah. Oh, I fucked this up, didn't I? Because I discarded a bridge just now. Never mind. So I've got no bridges. Never mind. I completely missed that. I could have had an Amalgam in there and a bridge in hand. So, what's the follow-up? They could have Beseech, they could have Assassin's Trophies. Obviously, Wastelands and Tabernacles would be annoying. But we've been through Spell Pierce, Deathrite so far. They're on 4 cards in hand. They obviously could have changed this sideboard if they wanted to. But I feel good because we've got the double Dredger. So they've got another Misty, which are fetching. Three cards, so they are low on resources, or fairly low on resources. They can't delve this turn, which is nice. They could play Tarmogoyf for Oko, or, well, any of their cards actually. They could play any of their cards that aren't delve spells. I'm just spitballing. So another Trop. And it's a Leovold. Okay. Leovold doesn't interact favourably with the Dredge mechanic, so that's good for the home team. So there's a Thug, Stinkweed Imp, get rid of all of these nerds, and then let's dredge a Stinkweed Imp, hit nothing, attack for 4. We've got an Icarid, we've got a Hogak, and we've got a Cabal Therapy in the yard now. The Vessel's going to pop on down to 14. I am not going to do anything remotely like sending away my Hollow One right now. I think I want that to be a full card for Wessel to spend. The death of the Deathrite Shaman looks like it was good for us. That looks like it was their hate piece. A lot can go wrong, but the spot looks good. Okay, Demonic Tutor. That's a card. for them to have. So Demonic Tutor into Tabernacle would make a lot of sense. Demonic Tutor Lotus Leyline would be a real problem for us. That's not actually true, is it? Because I can just bring back an Icarid and then make 2 amalgams. So it would have to be a Tabernacle. Because this is turning me into just an Icarid deck, this DT for Tab. Which I'm not saying I can't become and I can't win with. But it's quite clear that I'm about to kind of just go ham if you don't tab me. Yeah, so there's the Tabernacle. So my Hollow One's not going to get in, my Icarid is. My Icarid's going to bring back 2 amalgams which will be tapped and then dead. In comes Leovold. I think I want to bring my Icarid back to start with. Eating a shell. And just get that out of the way of any nonsense that our opponent can have sat there. So Hollow One's going to die. So let's dredge, because we can still cast spells out of our graveyard at the moment, so that's nice. So that's a Narcomoeba, which can die to a therapy bridge. So no more combat for Wessel. I would like the Narc. Let's dredge a Stinkweed Imp. Another Narcomoeba will come in. So therapy Hogak, 1 bridge. Still just the 1 Icarid, so like a Deathrite Shaman untapping could be an issue. Let's therapy you. Oh, yeah, they're going to get cards out of Leovold, aren't they? We didn't think about this. Didn't think about this at all. That was poor form. Was that 2 fuck-ups this game or 2 fuck-ups this round? Yeah, it was fucked up on the bridge, wasn't it? Maybe I'm still supposed to name Leyline of the Void. I know, they've just got a counterspell. Ancestral Recall. Wow. I was never naming that. I'd assumed that would have spoken up by now. And then they daze me. Okay, I think I'm just going to leave that there. I'll get some amalgams. And then... yeah, I completely forgot Leovold's ability for my therapies. What's in exile at the moment? No lands and only 15 cards in deck. So, opponent pays a black for Leo. They've got an Emerald. They've got a Lotus. That's a lot. There's a lot of power to be holding over there. Have they got anything to do with that power? Because a flooded opponent is the sort of opponent I would go for at the moment. So here come some costs. Blue gets paid. And a Brainstorm gets cast. So, I mean, Wessel does have time because I've not drawn enough Icarids. I've looked at my exile zone a billion times. Oh, that's why I've not drawn enough. There's 2 over there. Shit. So 6 cards. They'll go down to 4 once Brainstorm's resolved. I've got Vigor, 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 Noxious. I'm just thinking actually if they cast a Leyline of the Void, how bad is that for me? I've got 1 Noxious left in 15 cards to pick up a Vigor and then resolve a Vigor. That sounds tough as well. That sounds tough. So, opponent plays the Trop that they dazed back last turn. Now they play a Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf will slow me down. I need to find my other Ichorid. I can keep making the Ichorid though. I don't even need to keep making the Ichorid, right? I can just keep making the bridge tokens off of... Oh no, so I need the Ichorid to resolve last so that the amalgams are dead. So then the... Yeah, because I need to go and find a wasteland is what I need to go and do. I'm going to have infinite bridge tokens this turn. And Wessel can choose to kill something at any moment, I think. So the amalgams die. That way the amalgams will see the Ichorid come back. I can't draw more than 1 card a turn. So I need to remember that once I've got through this into my main phase. So these things are all dead. Ichorid's going to eat a Shambling Shell, I guess. And that's going to trigger my 2 amalgams, which is going to keep my bridge on loop, which means that Goyf isn't going to get anywhere. But I am going to say no to this draw step here. Because I need to find one of my lands or my Noxious. That's a bizarre. That wasn't the land I was meaning. Now I can just... I guess I can just attack with Ichorid, right? It doesn't matter. If they block with Leovold, that's insane. They block with the Goyf. I get another token. I'm going to get 2 amalgams back. So what's the best way to go about finding the things? I've got 1 Noxious, which is likely never resolving. And I can just sit here and draw cards, right? I could play a Hogak. So I should play a Hogak because then that will die into more bridge tokens as well. Hollow 1, Misstep, Hollow 1, Force. Hollow 1. So, and we just want to keep sustaining the board. I might do some dredging on their end step to try and find my second Ichorid, but like only like a light dredge. I don't know, 2 shells or something. The amalgams come back, and the reason we're churning the creatures is just to keep making the zombies so that the Tarmogoyf can't make any progress. So they're going to have to pay costs on their creatures as well. They've got 2 cards in hand. 3 after the draw, and then... So I'm just trying to think about how we get through... How much is too much dredging, how much is too little dredging. So I don't want to dredge so hard that I'm like a favourite to flip over my Wasteland, Strip Mine and Noxious. But I also want to dredge enough that I've got good outs to find my one of Ichorid. So I guess that actually means I should dredge kind of, I don't know, like 2 thugs, right? Dredge 8, go down to 6 cards, find 2 Ichorids. So no attacks, obviously. Let's activate Bazaar on our end step so that the amalgams that we find might come back later. So let's dredge I think I'm just going to do Shell. And that was a Wasteland and Thug. And then I'll take my draw step as well. So any order there. So we didn't hit any new amalgams. They might all be gone, I don't know. But this is going to be more zombie tokens. Ichrid needs to be last. Everything else needs to die. Okay, so nose all across the board so that we just replenish our board state and they can't get through. Lane Island of the Void really locks it up for them. Wasteland off the, or Strip Mine off the top really does it for me. Am I chasing ghosts at the moment? No, there's nothing. There's no Strip Mine over there. There is a Strip Mine available for us here on this draw step. And the Ichrid will make the amalgams, and the amalgams will make the zombies, and the zombies will make the wall that the opponent can't get through. So I think this is a good, not lock, but hold that we've got on the game. And it's just a case of who finds what first, you know. I think that's going to be the big joke. I think I'm happy to eat a shell to bring back the Ichrid, to trigger the 2 amalgams, and cast the Hogak and blah 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 blah. Same as we've done. So cancel on that because I'd like to draw a Wasteland. That's an amalgam. Send the Ichrid, get the zombies. Get the 2 amalgams. Still no Strip Mine in my graveyard, so it is an out. Yep, that's fine. It's funny because if they block with Leovold, then I'm more likely to find the thing. So their creatures dying is like interestingly good and bad. Do I want to cast a Hogak? I guess it's kind of free, right? And I'll drop Powder, Powder, Narc, Force. So Hogak comes back, Poxwalkers comes back, Amalgams come back. I've got 6 cards left in deck after our little dredging last turn. So still haven't found that final Ichrid either. But I've got no plays to make on their turn right now, so I can just pop it through. And it's going to be the turn that we find the Strip Mine, which is when things get good for us. We need to hope Strip Mine's not our bottom card. I don't know if we know our bottom card. I usually keep track of that sort of thing, but this has been a bit of a game, so I can't actually remember at the moment. Opponent pays for all the stuff. They've got 3 cards in hand. The thing we don't want to see them is sacrifice their Lotus for triple black. And I think... Okay, so this is blue. Actually, they found a Delve spell. The Delve spell probably bodies us. So, dig through time. Looks at 7. 7 looks for a ley line. And ley line will stop all this looping stuff that I'm doing as well. And allow them to make progress from next turn onwards. So, tough finals to negotiate so far, or to navigate, sorry. As far as I can remember, this is game 2. Game 2, turn 6. And then Wessel's got some decisions to make as well, obviously. Yeah. Okay, dig through time resolves. Opponent cracks the fetch land. Fetch is a bayou. Bayou for black. Black, 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 black. And that's not good. That's not good at all. Awkward. That is the exact nightmare scenario we're thinking of, because now it's got to be... Oh god, what has it got to be? Vigor. I've only got 6 cards as well, so it's really hard to get back into this game in the face of a ley line. I don't know how possible that is. Because all my guys are dead. My Icarids die. It's not. Yes, I need to find Noxious, and then I need to find access to a green card. I can't bring back this Icarid because otherwise it gets exiled. All my Vigors are in my graveyard, which is, you know, something. I draw therapy. So not ideal, but that was the thing, right? Is we were expecting them to. One of us was going to hit something at some point, and that was going to end the game. So I'm pretty convinced I've got a Strip Mine in my deck and one more Icarid. But then finding the Delve spell before we found the Waste was a bit tough. They loan back a Delta. Play and fetch. And cast Time Walk. So Time Walk's going to kill us. It'll be 9 followed by 9. And yeah, that's going to be a game, but we will make them do the deed. Yeah, no. So very good dig through time for the opponent. Let's say it was like the Leyline Time Walk. That was exactly it. So we go to game 3. And is there anything else we want? Well, yeah, there is. We want the Griefs on the play. But what do we want to get rid of? Sickening Shoal's a bit good. I think maybe we can just drop these Poxwalkers. And then one more. Just a bridge. So interactive Icarid gaming. I like it. Yeah, DT into tab to lock down the board and get all those draw steps to get into dig through time was very good. We just needed to find that strip mine on, I don't know how many draw steps I took, 2 or 3. It was 3, right, because it was Bizarre Amalgam Therapy. So if one of those is a strip mine, then we win. But hey ho. Game 3. Okay, game 3 of the finals. Last game of the day. No Bizarre in R7. Big shame. Bizarre in R6 though. And a hollow one. So powder to the bottom. Draw some cards. We'll keep this. Put back a powder. And see how many the opponent keeps. Do they have a ley line? So they, as they just proved, they don't need the ley line straight away. So obviously the ley line straight away is a lot better. But we've got a green card and a hollow one. Opponent is deep in the tank or deep in the mulligans. Okay, opponent mulligan to 6 and found their ley line there. So we'll play our Bazaar, we'll activate our Bazaar, we'll pray for our Vigor. No Vigor there, but we'll discard Therapy, Powder, Therapy. And cast a Hollow One. Hollow One gets through. Opponent goes Emerald. And Emerald. How many pieces of power does the bug opponent have? This is a difficult question. So Emerald Trop. Time Walk. So 2 pieces so far. Into Brainstorm. So Quality Opener. Brainstorm resolves, Underground Sea happens. Beseech on my Bazaar. Don't know why I pressed yes, because I knew that the bottom part of my deck was a powder, so that was bad. Top card of my deck's now a powder, so get immediately punished. In for 4, opponents on 2 cards. Delta, fetch. Gets a Bayou. And it's back to me. Opponent has a Force of Vigor hard cast on my upkeep by the looks of things. Back to the opponent. And we're drawing towards Vigors. So DT, this is going to be DT for Goyf, like 0% is anything else. Plays a Delta, passes a turn. Ancestrals himself, okay. I've got a Vigor. I'm going to Vigor your Mox and your Leyline. That's got through. So opponent is Leyline-less. Have they got a threat? They've got a Deathrite Shaman. And a Deathrite Shaman. And a Sylvan Library. Okay. So Shambling Shell. And they've taken all the damage. So let's do this in their upkeep, I think. But we will hit one of those. And I don't want to do it in their upkeep, I want to do it on their end step. On my end step. So they go after my Vigor. I'm going to Sickening Shoal 1, pitching an Amalgam. And that happens. So Time Walk gets exiled, Vigor gets exiled. An opponent's up against the clock as well, which isn't a resource they've managed. Well, maybe they've managed it perfectly. Maybe not. They've got another ley line, but they're on 2 minutes to defeat us with here. It's an Amalgam. So time's on them. They hit us for 2. They've got 1. Oh, they gained 2 life. Okay. Okay, they want to get through library cards. Oko Thief of Crowns is going to be the one that helps them with the timing. Deathrite just gets in with the jet. Back onto the opponent. So it looks like they're going to have managed their time perfectly. I could do with a Sickening Shoal by the looks of things. I go to 8. Shambling Shell. And then opponent's got it. So GG's to Wessel. Another challenge victory for them. And yeah, that was cool. So we come in second place today. We've got some trophy collection over there. And then, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the build of Dredge at the moment. I like the GAC, I like the Poxwalkers. I think the therapies are very good. And this build just seems to be quite resilient. I'm not saying it's better than the other Dredge build, but what have I played? I played that one league, I trophied that league with the blue list that was in my video last week. I then took the blue out and played a league which I went 2-3 in. But then with blue Poxwalkers and therapy sort of thing, I've now lost 2 matches and they were both to bug to start and end the day. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon.